he's done something that goes beyond the pale, he will shake his head and give this answer without fail. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he says he tells no lies and that he never jokes. Confronting with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills. A hoax, he said it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, changing a storm path with black marker strokes. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. Casting mail-in ballots is something that he's done. Now he wants to ban them for each and every one. He claims it's for integrity in each election, but he won't believe the results unless it's him that's won. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, they'll fool you with distractions like real sugar in Cokes. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax. He promised to release all the Epstein files that caused all the MAGA base to react with smiles. But how long has he put it off? It sure has been a while, and now he's calling this a hoax, protecting pedophiles. A hoax, he says it's all a hoax. When at a press conference or with misspelled keystrokes, he'll keep on gaslighting up until he croaks. Confronted with the truth, he'll say it's all a hoax.
Trump piled debt, trillions tall. Promised Mexico would fund that wall. Praised dictators, said they're strong. Had Joe done it, they'd say he's wrong. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd scream foul play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Go through crises, storms and more. Called soldiers losers who died in war. Hire his kids to run DC. If it was Hunter, they'd scream treachery. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, the numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, Fox News would say I made. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Love Kim Jong-un, he wrote love letters that take the guns first, lose those rights forever. Signed you spending bills with glee. Had Joe done that, it'd be tyranny. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd shout out today. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Kept secret files, countless untold. Said Putin's word was good as gold. Invited the Taliban to come to U.S. soil. If Joe had done that, they'd all recoil. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd want him to pay. But Trump did it, so it must be okay. Double standards loud and clear. Rules for Trump, but not for peers. What they call treason, if Joe's the name, is patriotism when Donald's to blame. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would slip. Had Biden
This just in. A sudden spike in logic levels across the city. Citizens report seeing a man with glasses and a podcast mic. We go now live to Liberal Dan.
Yo, who you gonna call when Nazi writings on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, cause you know we got a plan. The right wing talking shit, but he ain't about to quit. He'll take his proton pack and zap your logic cause it's whack. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall.
It's being reported that Liberal Dan is setting up what appears to be some sort of straw man containment field.
He's calling out your lies with his mic, he'll vaporize. Cross the streams in your dreams, bitch, you know that he's too wise. You're like Slimer talking crap, but you walked into his trap. Yo, it's more than entertainment, it's misinformation contained. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall. The Statue of Liberty, the writing you can see. So bring the huddled masses, it's a war of the classes. While Trump may think he's Vigo, Dan can cut through that ego. He's got the facts to prove him wrong, got that logic like Egon. Your logic is a ghost, cause you know this chick is toast. When you follow MTG, it's conspiracy, you'll see. There's no need to taser, he's got wit like Occam's razor. Liberal Dan cuts those lies with his Jewish-based laser.
It's unbelievable. Liberal Dan just used the literal dog whistle to lure a large group of internet trolls into what is being called a self-collapsing rhetoric singularity. In all my years of reporting, I've never seen anything like this.
So don't call to be a heckler, you ain't no Judge Rexler. He'll bust you like Scolary, cause your logic's looking hairy. Right-wing callers think they're cool, but they sounding just like Zool. You the dog, he the man, and yo, his name is Liberal Dan. So who you gonna call when the writing's on the wall? Call your man Liberal Dan, and the rhetoric will fall. Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan, Liberal Dan.
Proclaimed king, a groper in chief, stealing our country, a crooked orange thief. Faux patriots who are poorly educated, wearing red hats and also unvaccinated. Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. A failing media that's barely treading water. They're too inept to fight this new world order. Corporate pigs are at the trough, hear the squeals. The swine won't bite the hands that feeds them meals. But Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk comes the left, that's right. A leftist voice on air, exposing MAGA treason, breaking through their lies with facts, logic, and reason. Unmasking hypocrisy, the truth will be our guide. Call out their lies, justice is on our side. Cause Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right.
welcome back to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. This is your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you live from New Orleans, Louisiana. To join the conversation, just either leave your questions, comments, etc. in the chat, either at liberaldanradio.com or twitch.liberaldanradio.com. Either way, you can leave your comments, etc. Welcome Orvilleby and Atrocious at Every Game over on Twitch. I've heard this opening so many times I can hum the upcoming song. Just wait till the special show next month. Just wait. You'll have a good time with it, I think. I'm not just, teasing it a little bit, but we're not saying too much about it, but we are teasing that there is going to be something special on the first show of the first full week of May, which is going to be on a Tuesday and not on a Monday. Anyway, welcome Jolie over in the YouTube chat. Johnny Katz, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. James, lots of the J Squad came in early. Vasantha, good to see you. Big Hook, welcome as always. We've got Steve from across the pond.
If it's no Scottish, it's crap.
Who else? I think I've got everybody so far. I think Howell's still cranking the lad before I shut that window, so it happens. It is what it is. Wait, that's Donald's line. I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Anyway, so yes, May 5th of 2026. A special show time, special show day, and we're gonna have fun. Let's see. Audio is low. That's interesting. We're on. Just my voice is audio low, or is everything else low as well? Because it looks like my numbers are going up into the yellow for the input, and the input is actually at 100%. So just let me know if anybody else is having issues hearing it. I could always lift the microphone a little bit more, just my voice. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how things go, and hopefully it'll be better, because if I put it any lower, it might head into the red, but I guess I can raise it up a little more on OBS. I just don't want to blow anybody else's speakers out or whatever. Anyway. Also, Maggots, Atrocious at Every Game says, please come to Twitch. Let's have a free exchange of ideas within the free marketplace of ideas. Reasonable. Music was loud, then you came on. I had to turn everything up to max to hear you. Okay. So maybe it was just the music that was loud. I don't know. Interesting. There's a large police presence in Algiers, which is the part of New Orleans that I live in, blocking off part of MacArthur Boulevard near Woodland. That's right near my house too. Holy crap. Let's see what this is about, because this is literally, there was a crash that took place at 5:50 p.m. So before I got home. Wow, New Orleans police officer was taken to the hospital following a crash in Algiers Thursday. The crash happened at 5:50 at an intersection of Woodland and MacArthur, which is very close to where I live. Police could not confirm whether there were any other injuries. A man is claiming to be the boyfriend of the woman involved in the crash, says she was taken to the hospital as well. 2 cars had crashed. My wife had just sent me that. It's interesting. It doesn't really affect me at this point, but, that's very, very close. People, driving like mad people. I was very annoyed yesterday with some of the people. There's this one street, and it's like the shortcut, where if you can go the main streets, but you can just cut through it, and the speed limit on that street is 35 miles an hour, and it's the street where people are most likely that I've seen anywhere in this town to go under the speed limit, and ridiculously so. Like, there was somebody who was going 20 miles an hour down the 35 mile an hour street, and I'm trying to get to my son to pick him up from school, and I was trying to get to Cassie to go visit her in the hospital. And of course, they're, driving me crazy. I may have shouted a few expletives out the window and honked the horn quite a bit, because, I was not in a very good mood at the time. Anyway, so what we gonna talk about? Always support the show, I guess. Always support the show. Like, comment, share, etc. Make sure to help the algorithm. Algorithm needs more rhythm. Make sure to, interact with existing posts and existing videos on YouTube. Make sure to, share things to your social media feeds. Share in the Blue Sky if, happens to be up, because apparently there was a denial of service attack today. And then also, just follow me all over on social media, every place I'm Liberal Dan Radio most places. Just come check me out most places and help those algorithms out as well. Let's try and push the show to be bigger and better in this, you know, dystopian hellscape that we live in under the Donald Trump presidency. So imagine if Biden's social media program took a shit like Blue Sky did today.
Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip. Had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip. Had Biden done it, that scream foul play. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
If only it could have happened to, you know, Trump's propaganda social website. That would have been even better, and not Blue Sky, but that one. And part of me was thinking, could it have possibly have been, because, you know, Blue Sky is often more used by us folks on the left. Could it have been some MAGA folks causing problems, stirring some shit over there? Who knows? I don't know. But I wouldn't put it past this administration to use government resources to do a DDoS attack on left-leaning media sites. So, anywho, I do want to give a shout out to Squirrel Girl, who did leave me after a previous show, who did leave me a $5 coffee purchase from liberaldan.com. Just click the Buy Me Cider button, or just go to buymecoffee.com/liberaldanradio. She helped me out with that. So thank you so much for that. I don't know what's going on. My phone's acting really weird right now. Anyway, good to see you, Aaron. Thank you for joining. One half of the best mod squad on the planet. But again, if you want to support the show that way, you can either support the show once a month by, or one-time benefits by doing Buy Me a Coffee, or you can do Venmo, or you can super chat, super sticker, gift memberships, gift subscriptions, etc., etc., etc. What else? There's a lot of bots on Blue Sky. At least I hope their bots are not really effing stupid. Well, there are a lot of effing stupid people on the internet. An ICE agent has been charged with assault by Minnesota prosecutors. An arrest warrant has been issued. An ICE enforcement agent has been started by state prosecutors in Minnesota with 2 counts of assault related to a road rage incident. They have issued a nationwide warrant for his arrest. Gregory Donnell Morgan Jr. is accused of pointing his gun at 2 people in another car on February 5th as he tried to pass them while illegally driving in his unmarked SUV on the shoulder of a highway in Minneapolis. Prosecutors said at a press conference on the other day, or today, the incident came on the heels of the killings of 2 citizens, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, by federal agents in Minneapolis amid the Trump administration's surge of immigration enforcement in the Twin Cities. So we will see what happens. Donald Trump will be like, I will pardon him, and then he'll have to be told, sir, you can't. Sir, they'll tell me, sir, you can't pardon him. But I love when I hear sir, but I don't like hearing that I can't pardon people on state charges. I don't like that at all. But Morgan is the first federal agent charged in connection with what happened in Operation Metro Surge. Is this the first kind of this case nationally? We believe it is. His conduct was extremely dangerous. The people in the vehicle had no idea he was a federal agent until a state trooper told them that. There was nothing that they did that justified Mr. Morgan's actions. Of course, there's no reason to pull a gun from your holster unless there is a reason to use deadly force. Threatening people with your gun is not a good thing to do. Big hook. Have you seen the latest AI video where Jesus comes down and beheads Trump impersonating him? Yes, I have seen that. That was great. I tried to do something a little bit different, but for some reason the clipping or the software that I used to create some of my automated images or AI generated images did not want to work properly, I guess. But anyway, so it's good to potentially see maybe justice coming for one of the people who was, you know, involved in terrorizing Minneapolis, and let's hope that we can see many more examples of those ICE domestic terrorists getting charged with crimes or for the crimes that they committed in, you know, their whatever it is they were doing. I'm not going to say doing their duty, because that's not their duty. That's not their job. Their job is not to terrorize people, and maybe under Donald Trump it is, but in reality, ICE enforcement should not be involved in terrorizing anybody, let alone American citizens. So let's see. In New Jersey, Bernie Sanders, an AOC-backed Democrat, wins key House race. GOP fails to expand its fragile majority. Mejia, a former Sanders campaign staffer, also backed by AOC, defeated a GOP candidate, Joe Hathaway, in the suburban district. They were trying to flip the seat. Democrat Annalila Mejia, who was backed by progressive champions Bernie Sanders and of Vermont, and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez from New York, defeated GOP candidate Joe Hathaway in Thursday's special election. With her victory, Mejia will fill the final 8 months of the term of Governor Mickey Sherrill, the Democratic representative who stepped down from Congress in November after winning New Jersey's gubernatorial election. Special election came as the GOP clings to a fragile House majority that should hopefully go away by the end of the year, or at least January, beginning of January, once the new people are sworn in to office. Republicans would have relished the opportunity to pick up the seat, but it was an uphill climb because Sherrill won the seat by 15 points in 2024 and the district was carried by roughly the same margin in last year's gubernatorial election as well. Mejia, a progressive organizer who served as national political director of the 2020 Bernie Sanders presidential campaign, pulled off an upset in the February Democratic primary, narrowly edging out a more moderate rival, Tom Malinowski, in a field of 11 candidates. While Mejia was the clear choice of the party's left flank, the rest of the field appeared to divide the moderate and center-left vote. Her victory is a boost for the left against the establishment after Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani sent shockwaves by winning the Democratic primary in June of last year. So, as I always say here on the show, on Liberal Den Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right. I want to see every seat going as left as possible. That's how we're going to make progress in this country. And that doesn't mean try and elect a leftist in every seat, because there are some seats where only a centrist Democrat can win, and a more leftist Democrat will be more likely to lose against a more perhaps moderate Republican. Which is why, but in those seats, as left as possible, might be electing somebody in the center or at least center left. In other seats, perhaps just a hard, regular Democrat could win, but in Democratic seats that are safe, we should be electing people as far to the left as possible. And the other thing is that this election brings us a good opportunity to actually do just that, because as we've seen, the elections shift and seats moving more and more to the left. You have a better opportunity to elect, centrist Democrats in right-leaning districts, to elect, dyed-in-the-wool, blue dog Democrats, or I guess yellow dog Democrats in more centrist seats. And you have in safe blue seats, you have the opportunity to elect more people who are on the progressive left side of things. And that's the best way that we are going to get effective change in this country, by being pragmatic, but by also trying to get the leftmost candidate as possible in every single race. Thank you, Alyosha, for the 15 bits. As always, appreciate you. Good to see you, Jan. Good to see you, Jojo Mojo. Good to see you, Suzanne, as well. Thank you all for joining. Lots of the J Squad in here today. Appreciate seeing each and every one of you. Of course, one of the things, in the show title is that we have... are we going in the wrong direction, or are we going in the right direction? Let's listen to this, or watch this, and see what this moron has to say.
Secretary Burgum has been a key partner with me in this mission since before we came into the administration. I want to introduce today a critical partner of Secretary Burgum and President Trump and I in this effort, because he's passionate about the American dream. He's passionate about freedom and opportunity. And most importantly, he's smart and he's a fighter. Just because it looks like we're going the wrong direction does not mean that's the direction we're going.
That's pretty much what it typically means. If you're going in the wrong direction, you're going in the wrong direction. I mean, maybe there's one example that I can think of. There's a part of Interstate 95 where you go north and then it kind of curves back down southwards and then it goes back northwards. So there's a brief section of Interstate 95 up in the northeast where you're on I-95 north, but you're traveling south, or when you're on I-95 south, you're traveling north. So in that rare circumstance, yes, it might look like you're going in the wrong direction because you're going south on I-95 north, but in reality, you're still going in the correct direction. But in this case, we are going in the wrong direction, and we have been going in the wrong direction since Donald Trump's first term. So there's that genius comment right there. Let's see, what else? Oh, before I get to some of the other clips I want to talk about, I do want to have a little bit of a time to bitch and moan about things. Let's, maybe I should make this a fat man rant. We have a new fat man rant image. It's new, it's fancier, it's new. So here's our new fat man rant image right here. Yeah. Why is it that hospitals can't get dietary restrictions properly? We had a situation where, oh wait, do we have a cat joining us today? Wow. We have a cat that's coming in. I wonder if the cat's going to join us and actually show off. I was wondering when the next time Rose would actually come in. But anyway, let's continue the fat man rant. Today, my wife in the hospital ordered a hamburger patty with cheese and some fries. Did she get a hamburger patty? No, she got a hamburger on a full-ass bun. She has celiac disease. She can't have wheat. She can't have gluten. Hey, Rose. Good to see you, my kitty. I can't believe you joined us today. Say hello to Rose, everybody. Say hello to everybody, Rose. Appreciate you coming and joining us for the show today. Everybody missed you. All of the Danimals missed you, Rose. Look at the Rosy Posy. They're going to show you some fish on the screen, and you can see some fishy, fishy, fishies. Of course, you can't see the fishy, fishies while I have this background on. But, yay, Rosie's joining us finally for the show. But anyway, why is it that it's hard to do a rant and be angry about things when you have a kitten on your shoulder? But why is it that they can't get that right? Why is it that they're constantly, like last time when she was in the hospital last year, bye Rose, when she was in the hospital last year, they had one thing on the receipt that said, please check the tray. And it was highlighted. And I checked the tray and I checked the receipt and they were not matching. What was on the tray was not on what was on the receipt. So they clearly didn't do their jobs. You would think that if you get a food service company, because I think it's outsourced, if you get a food service company that's going to be working food service for the hospital patients, that they would be able to handle things like, you know, dietary restrictions. But no, they apparently can't seem to do that. Instead, they want to make sure, I guess, I don't know, is the idea that if they keep making the people sick because they give them the wrong food, that maybe the people will stay in the hospital longer and makes the hospital more money? I don't know, but it's absolutely ridiculous that we have to sit there and watch my wife's food to make sure that she gets exactly what it is that she needs to have and not some random shit brought to you by somebody who is probably still not getting paid enough because we haven't raised the minimum wage in this state or in this country by enough. And even though they're terrible at their jobs, they still deserve a living wage. But maybe if they got a living wage, maybe they would care more about making sure that they give their patients the correct food. And don't even get me started on what my wife had earlier. Let me see if I can bring this picture up, because holy crap, this thing was, I don't even know what this is. Let's see. Let's bring this up over here as well. Open up this window. I don't know what this is. This is clearly mashed potatoes. This is clearly green beans. I have no idea what in God's green earth that this stuff is. Oh, there's a bigger picture. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Not a single clue as to what it is. It looks repulsive. It looks like cat food. I mean, maybe Rose would like to see it or whatever, but I have no idea what on earth this is supposed to be. Yet this is what my wife was served for lunch at the hospital. Unfortunately, one of our family friends was at the hospital and helped kind of, you know, bitch them out. And, you know, I don't know if she actually threatened them. She claims she threatened them. I don't know with what she actually threatened them with, but that just looks absolutely repulsive. And I mean, I've seen okay-looking hospital food. I mean, the mashed potatoes look fine, the green beans, whatever. They're very unseasoned. But this thing right here, whatever this is, yeah, that just belongs in the trash right there. Gross. Anyway, so there's that. Flippin' gross. Don't understand. I don't understand why they can't give her good food and can't give her correct and proper food. But yeah, there it is. Mush. Or whatever the crap that is. Hey, Janelle, good to see you. thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Make sure that y'all smash that like button if you haven't already done so. We do have 13 viewers and 13 likes, so it's awesome to see y'all. Let's see. What else do we want to talk about? Yeah, the fucking... I don't know what the hell that was. We don't know. We're just under the assumption that they tried to give her cat food. We don't know. But did she eat it? Absolutely the fuck not. The Rantler. Catman rant. That's... that would be a great option. Instead of doing a fat man rant, do a cat man rant. And maybe you could do a scat man rant where I do it like, you know, skibidi-doo-doo-boo-doo-boo-doo, do a scat man rant, it says. I don't know. But bioengineering meat, gross. Yeah, I don't even know if that is meat. I don't even know what that was. It could be all full of gluten. I don't know. But maybe it was steak that they put in a blender. I don't know. But she's not on a soft foods diet. And clearly she's not, because there are green beans on the plate. At the very beginning, she happened to be on one because they were concerned about some issues with her throat and something not closing properly. And her voice is still a little weird, and I'm a little concerned about that. But, you know, hopefully they'll get to the bottom of it and have everything figured out. They would probably serve her the steak from Poltergeist that moved. Probably. Hey, Josh, good to see you. Another member of the J Squad here. Yes, she does need to eat. But thank you, the Rantler. Thank you, Josh. Thank you all for joining the show. Appreciate y'all as well. I'm doing my best to sport the my Orioles shirt, because even though I'm from New Orleans, I'm a Saints fan and I'm a Pelicans fan. I am a Baltimore Orioles fan from the very, very beginning of me actually being able to recognize what sports was. My first memory of the Baltimore Orioles was them winning the World Series, which is cool. They haven't won since. They came close in the 90s. They had a really good game the other day, though. It was really impressive that they were down like 6 runs and they came back and won 9-7, including somebody hitting a grand slam and an additional home run. So, go O's, as people might say from Baltimore with the Baltimoreese accent. I'm having a little bit of a hard time trying to figure out which exact soda that Dr. Oz is trying to talk about here, that, you know, Donald Trump is trying to talk about. But Dr. Oz and the Cokehead Don Jr., Cokehead, maybe Diet Cokehead? I don't know. You decide which Cokehead it is. Because, we'll talk about this in a second after we play some of this, because this is just insane.
Bobby and I usually go to the meetings together, so he'll first start off with candy bars, that little candy jar he'll call it. He'll hit the red button, and then comes the diet soda pops, which is your dad argues that diet soda is good for him because it kills grass. It's poured on grass, so therefore it must kill cancer cells inside the body.
Like, this is how dumb our president is. This is how absolutely 100% effing stupid our president is he thinks that if you pour Diet Coke on grass and just because it kills grass, that somehow it's going to kill your cancer? Who the hell gave him that idea? Like, did somebody, like, troll him? Did somebody be like, hey, you know what? This Diet Coke, it kills grass, that can cure cancer. He was probably like, that sounds like a great idea. I'm going to keep drinking a Diet Coke. I'm going to keep drinking it so it'll make sure I don't have any cancer. Now, the real cancer on this country is Donald Trump and the members of his administration. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's the cancer. And I wish the Diet Coke would help us cure that cancer. But, you know, that's probably going to be more from a blood clot or something than something else. But the fact that he thinks, I mean, back during the pandemic, he thought that testing causes cases of COVID. Like, when you test it, it causes people to be sick. Like, so, I mean, you should already know that he's a dumb motherfucker when it comes to stuff about medicine or whatever. But now he thinks that diet soda, now maybe Diet Coke, but apparently he drinks another one as well. But apparently diet soda causes people to not be able to get cancer. Imagine that. Imagine if that was the actual cure for cancer. I mean, the Coca-Cola company would be worth many, many, many times more than it is right now, because they'd be producing Diet Coke out the yin-yang and people would be drinking it and we'd have no cancer. If you have more Diet Coke, you have less cancer. The science shows it 100%. Believe me, Diet Coke is the greatest thing you've ever seen. It causes me to not have any cancer whatsoever. Yeah, let's continue to see what this moron says. little
We were on
ditty
Air Force One the other
music.
day, and I walk in there because he wants to talk about something, and he's got an orange soft drink on his desk.
Fanta. He
Yes,
drinks Fanta.
that's
yeah,
what I didn't want to say the brand name on the podcast.
Now, why would he drink? I mean, if he hates his Latino people, Hispanic people so much, like, why would he want the soda, the soft drink that has the "wanta Fanta, don't you wanta Fanta, don't you wanta"? Remember that commercial with a little Latino music flair or whatever? Why the hell would he want to drink that, right?
He's got Fanta on the desk, and I say, "Are you kidding me?" So
I love Fanta. It reminds me of, you know, my skin. It's orange, and everything orange is great. It's the greatest color you've ever seen. Like nobody's ever seen. It's orange.
he starts to like sheepishly grin. He goes, "You know, this stuff's good for me. It kills cancer cells." And
So I guess it's Diet Fanta that kills cancer cells, or does he believe that the soda itself is? Does he believe that the acidity of the soda is what kills cancer cells? I don't know. Something's killing his brain cells, and I don't know what the hell it is. It's not alcohol, apparently, because he doesn't drink, and it's not drugs, because he doesn't do drugs, apparently. But, you know, something is clearly killing his brain cells. Maybe it's just the late onset dementia setting in or whatever. I don't know. But there's old Don Jr. just laughing away. He's probably, you know, I do this sometimes during the show because I'll have cat hair on me or whatever, but probably other reasons for Don Jr. doing that.
and then he tells me it's fresh squeezed. So how bad?
I love it. It's fresh squeezed. I squeeze the Fanta right out of the bottle into the cup. I love it. I love it's fresh squeezed. It's all natural Fanta.
Could it be for you?
But food is sort of, that's his thing. You know what I mean? He doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs, he never did, never tried it. And so he always jokes when he pushes that button for the Diet Coke and the candy, the big bowl of candy, you know, he's like, that's my alcohol.
Bobby and I usually.
Now, have they repurposed that button? Like, was that button ever used for anybody else for anything else? Like when somebody else was in the Oval Office with, you know, Monica Lewinsky, did Bill Clinton hit a button and Monica come out or whatever? Let me hit that. I need a button to call in my interns or whatever. Like, you know, did Biden use it for ice cream cones? Whatever. Or is this just a Donald Trump thing where he wants the big red button to be able to call in and get his, I need a Diet Coke. Give me a Diet Coke now, or give me my Fanta. I need to have my Fanta. Thank you for. I'm sure he never actually says thank you. It actually means it. Hey, Teresa, good to see you. Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate you being here. But yeah, I love the Fanta. It's great. It cures the cancer. It's wonderful. I love to have the cancer cured. So bizarre. How bizarre. And of course, the bizarreness continues. The bizarreness absolutely continues with old Pistol Pete Hegseth, with him citing a supposed verse from the Bible. Here's old Pistol Pete from his sermon. I don't know, would you call it the sermon on? There's got to be another name for his sermon, but not on the Mount, but something else. But yeah.
A prayer that I'll read, which was also handed to me a couple of days ago, delivered from the lead mission planner of Sandy 1.
Now, did the lead mission planner of Sandy 1 just troll Pete Hegseth here? Was he like, guys, I'm going to hand him this prayer, and I'm going to tell him it's from the Bible, but it's really from Pulp Fiction. Let's see if he reads it. And no matter if, like, people made bets or whatever, be like, oh, there's no way he's going to read it. He's got to know it's from Pulp Fiction. Like, no, let's see if he'll read it anyway. And then the people are probably like, look at this dumb motherfucker. I wonder how many beers he had when he got handed that.
One were the A-10s that were a part of the daylight rescue mission of 44 Alpha, Dude 44 Alpha out of Iran. And if you know anything about Sandy's, their job.
And I didn't want to rescue him first of all because they called him 44 Alpha, and I was not gonna because 44 is Barack Obama, and I can't support Barack Obama. But then Pete told me it was the different 44, so I went ahead and approved the mission.
Is to bring those A-10s and put them in between the enemy and that down pilot. And so their job is to literally sacrifice themselves for someone else. And in Iran, in contested territory, that's exactly what they did. I mean,
they didn't actually sacrifice themselves. All of them survived. I mean, one of them got shot from, you know, the plane got hit or whatever, but they all survived.
This prayer was recited by Sandy 1, which is one of the Sandys, to all Sandys, all those
Not as good as pecan sandies, but you know, it's still a good sandy. I love the sandies. I put the pecan sandies in my snack jar, in my candy jar too, because I love the cookies as well as the sweets.
A-10 crews prior to all CSAR missions, but especially this CSAR mission that happened in real time. They call it CSAR 2517, which I think is meant to reflect.
That guy knows that old Pistol Pete is getting Keg's death is getting trolled right here. And look at this guy. This guy's like, is he really gonna say it? And this guy's about to crack up. Wonder how many people are in on the joke.
Like Ezekiel 25:17. So the prayer is CSAR 25:17, and it reads, and pray with me, please.
Pray with you. Pray to this frickin' thing.
The path of the downed aviator is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of camaraderie and duty, shepherd the lost through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those.
What a prayer. What a prayer to say. Bowing your heads in prayer about this. This guy's like, what the hell? Is he really doing this? This guy's like, what the hell is going on here?
Those who attempt to capture and destroy my brother. And you will know my call sign is Sandy 1 when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
As Jolie says, I can't believe these dipshits are in charge of our government. And no truer, correct words have ever been said, because that is absolutely 100% stupidity. I really want to hope that he was trolled and they successfully trolled him and he didn't even realize what the hell was going on. The actual Ezekiel 25:17 is simply, and I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes, and they shall know I am the Lord when I shall lay my vengeance upon them. That's what that verse says. It's not what's from Pulp Fiction. This line from Pulp Fiction is, the path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. And of course he puts his, empties his clip into the guy and, who is eating his, tasty burger. Wonder how else they're going to be able to troll him. What other movie quotes are they going to be able to convince Pete Hegseth to say that are actual prayers and make him think, oh, these are actual prayers, when in reality it's just frickin' movie quotes. Yeah, this is the dumbest timeline. This literally is the dumbest timeline with the dumbest people in the dumbest administration we've ever had. I mean, I used to think it was bad that we had Dan frickin' Quayle who didn't know how to spell potato properly. Remember those days? Don't you wish you had those days again where all we had to worry about is whether or not the VP could spell potato properly? No. Now we have all of these fucking potatoes, potato heads, nothing in them, no gray matter, no brain power in there, just a bunch of dullards who are just saying the most stupidest shit that have ever been said on the face of this planet. This is absolutely the dumbest president and the dumbest cabinet that we've ever had in the history of this goddamn country. No ifs, ands, or buts on that. Absolutely ridiculous. So, yeah. And you will know my name is the Lord. Of course, there is one reason that we all know why they all fall for this and they all continue to follow these fucking morons in this presidency and don't turn against him. It's because
you're in a cult, man.
Say that again, please, Mark.
You're in a cult, man.
Yep, they're all in a cult. They are all in a frickin' cult. And they are not going to reject their cult leader until something happens to them specifically that makes them realize, oh, this is actually bad for us. So, let's not even go there. Don't give that imbecile any ideas. I would love to see Quentin Tarantino sue them for stealing. I mean, they might claim it was parody. I don't know. But here's the thing. Here's the other thing I wanted to point out. here's what I want to know. Are you going to have a situation where they're going to start quoting other phrases from Pulp Fiction? Are they going to start quoting other phrases from Pulp Fiction? And if so, we should watch out, because Pete Hegseth is going to be the next person to drop the N-bomb. He'll be dropping the N-bomb in the next invocation that he gives. Maybe talking about dead storage or whatever. I don't know. But he is going to be dropping the N-bomb, and the people who are feeding him those lines are probably going to be like, what a fucking moron. What a fucking moron he is. So, anyway. See, hey Kegsmith, what do you mean God would say? What do you think God would say about Jeffrey Epstein's wingman? Also, Jesus was anti-public prayer. He thought people who flaunted their religiosity were hypocrites. Well, yeah, they are. It's easier. They also thought that the wealthy people would also, not make it to heaven because they could fit a camel through the eye of a needle more easily than a wealthy person can get to heaven, right? Foot massages don't mean shit, says the Rantler. It's not like he's touching the holiest of holies, right? It's like, may I have some of this beverage to wash down this tasty burger? Hey, Pete Hegseth, you doing all right? Nah, man, I'm pretty fucking far from all right. And we could just continue quoting on Pulp Fiction over the course of the who's Zed? Zed's dead, baby. Zed's dead. Nobody move, or I'll execute every single last fucking one of you. I actually used to have, I saw this at a Comic-Con one year. I used to actually have a wallet that I got at a Comic-Con one time that said bad motherfucker on it. I saw it and I'd be like, oh, I have to get it. So if one day somebody can ask me which one is your wallet, I could be like, the one that says bad motherfucker on it. I think probably the most likely to quote, besides, that's a tasty burger, is, it used to be all the time we're talking about, if anybody brings up, a dislike of pork products, I'd be like, bacon tastes good. Pork chops taste good. And be like, sewer rat might taste like pumpkin pie, but I wouldn't know because I wouldn't eat the filthy motherfuckers. So, yeah. I am oft quoting Pulp Fiction. Whenever the opportunity arises to quote Pulp Fiction, I will be quoting Pulp Fiction whenever it is that I can. So, anyway. Especially when I eat a burger. This is a tasty burger, but I can guarantee you that whatever it was that was supposed to be a burger on my wife's plate was absolutely was not going to be a tasty burger one bit whatsoever. Royale with cheese. I like that. Royale with cheese, because they don't have the metric system. Or they have the metric system over there, so they don't have a quarter pounder. Steve, clips from computer games, speeches from movies, John Williams score next. I want to get the copyright violation. I don't want Lucasfilm coming after me or any of the other movies that he's done, whatever movie studios were involved in whatever John Williams score was for that, be it Indiana Jones, be it 2001: A Space Odyssey, I think so. I don't know. I'm trying to remember there's so many John Williams scores that it's kind of hard to keep track or whatever. Anyway, do we really want to go to that already? Jesus Christ. I've blown through a lot of the stuff that I want to talk about today. And I still kind of wanted to talk about some other random shit. But let's see. We got dietary restrictions. We got the Dr. Oz video with Don Jr. Then with Coke killing cancer, or Diet Coke killing cancer. Hegseth quoting Pulp Fiction. Chris Wright's us going in the wrong direction. So yeah, a bunch of that. Let's see, what else? What else we want to talk about today? I don't know. I'm actually kind of surprised is Hal still going? Kind of surprised. I mean, usually I know he might have started later or whatever, but see what else is in Google News first before we move on to one of the other topics I wanted to talk about today, which is kind of half related to, or somewhat related to, or it was inspired by my wife's stay at the hospital. Let's talk about that, I guess, shall we? Again, this is probably going to be a shorter show as well, simply because of the fact that I'm still freaking exhausted, and I don't know if I have to go yell at my kids because I don't know if they're doing what it is that we need to be done. Because again, there's a tentative return home date or discharge date for my wife of next Friday, so 8 days from now, and we have a lot of stuff to get cleaned up in the house in order for that to happen. And I am anticipating going downstairs and not being a very happy camper like I was yesterday. So, James, memes, Lego clips. I don't want to, get hit by somebody else's copyright by playing the Lego clips or whatever. We could always play some music or whatever, or play some of this horrible stuff.
But the hard way, I think, is probably the easy way.
The hard way is, that's why this is the longer one.
Here we go. Let's do it the hard way. But the hard way, I think, is probably the easy way.
Oh my. Wait, that's...
Oh my.
Anyway, unless there's anything y'all want to specifically talk about before I get to this thing. But anyway, I guess we can go ahead and start talking about this now, I suppose. This is kind of an older study that has taken place, which is called from ScienceDaily.com from November 10th, 2009. So it's a bit dated, but it was one of the ones I was able to find. And it was, when serious illness strikes, women are shockingly more likely to be abandoned by their partners than men are. In a striking study involving patients with cancer or multiple sclerosis, researchers found that women faced a divorce or separation rate of 20.8% compared to just 2.9% when men were sick. The disparity suggests that men are far less likely to stick around when caregiving is required. Factors such as age, duration of marriage, and even the type of illness played a role, but the women's gender was the most powerful predictor of abandonment. Women being 6 times more likely to be separated or be divorced soon after a diagnosis of cancer or MS than if a man in the relationship is the patient, according to this study, which confirmed earlier research that put overall divorce or separation rates among cancer patients at 11.6%, similar to the population as a whole. However, researchers were surprised by the difference in separation and divorce rates by gender, because the rate, again, for women was 20.8% compared to 2.9% when the men were the patients. The study, Gender Disparity in the Rate of Partner Abandonment in Patients with Serious Medical Illness, was published in the November 15th issue of the Journal of Cancer. The other corresponding author is Michael Glanz, MD, of the Huntsman's Cancer Institute of Utah School of Medicine. Why men leave a sick spouse can partially be explained by their lack of ability compared to women to make more rapid commitments to being caregivers, which is just an example of toxic masculinity. I mean, you have the ability to do so, you're just unwilling to do so because you don't want to change, whatever it is that you're doing to take care of the person that you're supposed to be a partner with. The person that you're supposed to love and care for is the person that you're now going to abandon. Now, let's be fair, I guess, in the fact that 20% of people getting divorced or separated means that most of them stay. But this is just another example of where men need to do better. It should not be 20.8%, and there should be no correlation between somebody getting sick and somebody getting divorced. But the idea that, it's this many times more, it's ridiculous. There's another story here. When Christy Sanchez was 12, she had the best stepdad in the world. He was charismatic and intelligent. He introduced her to new music and took her hiking every weekend. Then her mom got sick. For 2 years, Sanchez's mom, Sandra, battled stage 4 breast cancer. It was advanced enough that within days of her diagnosis, she was having her breast, lymph nodes, and both ovaries removed. Sanchez's stepdad, Tom, was upbeat at first. He attended appointments with his wife, cooked meals, looked after the children. But within a week, Sandra, the breadwinner in the family, was back at work, and within 2, she was already cooking and cleaning again. By the 6-month mark, her stepdad's attitude had completely changed. It's like once the chemotherapy started and he saw the decline in her health, he was kind of like, oh shit, and tapped out. She shared her experience on an online thread that went viral on Twitter. The tweet that sparked it all off read, "My sister has stage 4 cancer and her ex-husband complained about her not doing her part to clean up." Again, men need to do better. I will never forget that for as long as I live. The post, which has now been seen over 300,000 times at that point, I think it's gone away. I wasn't able to find it on Twitter. It seems this page doesn't exist. Try again. So apparently the thread got deleted. My mom was in the hospice and her husband was out and about in a new sports car picking up single moms at my siblings' after-school sports programs. Absolute garbage. If you're hoping that these are rare horror stories, there is some comfort to be had. Most people, regardless of gender, do not leave their partners. Again, as we said, 80% don't, but according to the study, 20% do. Same study showed that when partners leave, it's normally men. 2009 studies showed that gender was the strongest predictor on whether or not somebody would leave. In Christie's case, in this story, it meant watching her stepdad go from being an energetic, loving guy to an irresponsible, stroppy teenager. He would go into his room and just sit on the computer as soon as his wife got in, leaving her to cook and clean while going through chemotherapy. She would be saying to us, "I really need you to help do this." We tried to step up in the best way that we could, but we were just kids. Christy, her brother, and her mom made the unspoken decision there and then that they would power through without him until the cancer was gone. It was like grief. I expected him to be something, but when it came down to it, he just didn't show up. He let us all down. Gendered expectations about household work ought to have changed in the last few decades. Women have almost equal representation in the workplace, and in 41% of U.S. homes, women are the breadwinners. More men than ever are stay-at-home fathers. Yet, when women fall ill, it can really reveal the extent to which men are not only entitled to a certain level of household, but have no concept of how to be efficient and appropriate caregiver. Mickey Thormier, a sociologist from the University of Alabama, studies how gender affects couples when partners get sick, say that in most couples, people understand they will need to support their partners, but she says men and women interpret what caregiving looks like in very different ways. Men tend to view their partner getting sick as in a mechanical way. They see it as a problem to be solved. They can separate out the obvious and immediate physical tasks, but other caregiving requirements are left unconsidered, like emotional care and/or housework. This means a lot of the time women continue to do that work despite going through chemo, despite being sick, despite not being able to do so. And when they don't, problems arise. In 2018, researchers in Germany used a nationally representative sample to show that as long as they are still able to, women continue to do an uneven amount of housework while they are sick. If that was the dynamic in the relationship before they became unwell, particularly with more mild conditions, the expectation is that the status quo will go on unless it gets so extreme. The flip side of this is that relationships tend to function well when the woman gets sick and requires intensive care from a partner, but in cases where caregiving is not necessitated, men tend to downplay women's symptoms, shocking, and class her as largely self-sufficient, expecting her to ask for help rather than proactively giving it. Again, men need to do better. When Dana Hurd returned after a preventive double mastectomy, her partner seemed to think that she should do anything she was able to do previously without considering whether it was a good idea or whether it would be better to just help her. In the months following, she had tissue expanders in her chest that were rock hard. It felt like Coke cans every time I had to put on a sweater or zip up a coat. It was excruciating pain. Of course, she was still asked to do housework by her dumbass husband. In the middle of an icy winter, her partner began to expect that she could walk their 45-pound dog every day just 5 weeks after surgery. Again, ridiculous. Men need to do better. Never mind that I could have died if the dog pulled me over onto my front. In many cases, women willingly do such work. Studies on women with breast cancer show they tend to feel guilt for burdening their caregivers. Again, another sign of patriarchal bullshit. Nobody should feel guilt for causing a burden to their caregivers. If you're married to somebody and they're your partner, you should be helping them out regardless. You should be doing what needs to be done to make sure that they have their needs met, and you should be doing more than what you would normally do to deal with the fact that your spouse is having problems and needs to heal, needs to rest. But apparently, a lot of these guys don't understand that crap. So even the ones that aren't leaving are still being shit human beings, and men need to do better. Problem is the division of labor is impractical and long-term. The reality is that the condition will continue to deteriorate as long as the attitude is just not going to cut it, says Thomir. Instead, men need to take it upon themselves to learn how to do such chores when their partner gets sick, and women need to learn to give up some of that control. Amen, hallelujah. Otherwise, as the sick partner is less able to provide what she used to, that's when her husband may begin to get cold feet. Hurd's partner's gripe came when she stopped wanting to have sex. he started to have tantrums that she wasn't showing enough affection after her mastectomy. You know, God forbid she actually want to heal before actually having sexual intercourse with her partner. I'm actually hesitant to call the person a partner if, you know, if he's complaining that his sick but healing spouse is not in the mood to do it. He began to accuse her of cheating on him, berating her for neglecting his needs, even cutting her off his health insurance at one point, arguing that she was treating him like a housemate. No, dude, that's what you were doing, because you were not taking care of your spouse as needed, and you were putting your own selfish sexual needs above and beyond the needs of your spouse at the time, who was dealing with a double mastectomy and the healing that has to happen thereafter. Her started taking painkillers and then having sex with him made her feel like a blow-up doll. She didn't feel like she had any other choice. Yeah, you did have another choice, but, you know, some of those being legal and some of those not being legal. If the spouse is used to her doing these things, they might lead them to say, this really isn't what I wanted, and to leave the marriage. For Meredith Zappa, the point came 5 weeks after her mother was hospitalized for a serious heart condition. Her long-term boyfriend, Andy, dumped her while she was hooked up to the tubes in intensive care. He said he was too young to be dealing with somebody who was so sick. He was 50, you know, almost my age. I'm almost there. When he dumped her mom by text, again, men need to do better. Meredith had to deliver the news. She recalls reading the text with surprise, not least because Andy had been sick just a few weeks earlier with kidney stones, and Meredith watched as her mother doted on him, constantly at his bedside, bringing him food and checking in with doctors. When Meredith's mothers got sick, however, Andy asked Meredith to deal with the doctors despite the fact that he was listed as the primary caregiver. She said it didn't occur to him that it was actually his role. He made it seem like it wasn't his place to do that. You know, look, when I go to the doctor with my wife, you know, especially after her previous health conditions, I will sit there and I will allow my wife to do as much as she can in describing her issues, in describing her illness, and in the interactions with the doctor, because I don't want to take away her agency. I don't want to be the one that kind of, you know, speaks over her and says, no, this is the case. No, this is the case. Hell, I feel uncomfortable being in the room when it is asked, you know, is there any abuse that is taking place at the home? Because to me, if I was actually an abusive husband, like, she wouldn't admit to that with me in the room. Like, you should ask me to leave the room to ask her these questions. You know, it seems awkward to have me being in the room sitting here. Now, if I leave the room, the answer's still going to be no, that there's no abuse going on in the house, because I love my wife and I would never do that shit. But still, one would think that you would at least ask the spouse to leave the room so you could ask these personal questions without the fear of anyone, you know, of him, like, you know, of an abusive spouse being like, oh, well, if he says the wrong thing, then I'm going to, you know, do whatever later. But again, men need to be better. Men need to be more conscious of their effect on the world, and men need to be better in relationships. And, you know, if you're not going to be with somebody when they're sick, then just leave that person when they're healthy and let them find somebody who will be with them when they're sick. Or at least let them handle it on their own, because that's what they're going to fucking do anyway with these selfish assholes that are there. Let's see, what became increasingly clear to Meredith was the gendered expectations men and women are willing to accept when it comes to caregiving. Let's see, my mother would never even call my brother to ask him to do anything. She didn't want to bother him, would say that he's not good at this stuff, and yet we're both adults, but again, should be willing to and able to do this. These family myths that if women are better in certain roles, for example, or the men are incapable, are often used to justify the unequal division of labor within a relationship, which is, again, bullshit. It is more examples of the patriarchy. It's more examples of us upholding toxic masculinity in this society by just, you know, setting the bar so low for men that it's a tavern in Hades. There is a glaring problem. People say, what we do works for our family, it just happens to be unequal, and yet it just so happens to be unequal in very similar ways across many, if not all, families. For Meredith's mother, caregiving was woman's work. That's what she said explicitly. Andy's mother similarly indulged him, agreeing that he was too young to take on a caregiving role. If you're with somebody, if you're with a committed partner, or especially a spouse, you're never too young to be a caregiver for the person who you are supposed to be in love with and caring for and being with them till death do you part if you're married. Again, men need to do better. For Meredith's mother, caregiving was blah, 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 blah. Our research consistently shows that this work is much less appreciated when women do it. It is seen as what women do. It is what they've always done, even if it is a little more heightened when someone is sick. Men, on the other hand, are more appreciated for caregiving and are more easily let off the hook when they decide it's too much. Their family members notice the work that they are doing and chip in. Again, men need to do better. To say that men benefit hugely from female caregiving is borne by research. Men tend to suffer a lot more from widowhood, partly because they gain more support from marriage than women do. When his partner dies, he is more likely to actively seek out another relationship, whereas women are more likely to avoid marriage. Why? Because they know it will entail more caregiving on their behalf. Women are so socialized into believing that they must be caregivers that it even doesn't occur to them that they can take time off, let alone that they might have another option. In one study with heterosexual, gay, and lesbian couples, one woman gives care to her wife around the clock, taking time off to cry while on the subway. By contrast, one of the husbands participating in the study continues to ask his wife to attempt each and every task she can do while going blind. Again, men need to do better. Can we continue to blame these men if they know no better? Yes, you can. I can say you can, because they should try to learn better. They should try and be better. They should try to improve themselves. Not trying to improve yourself, not trying to understand what's going on in the relationship that you're in, should be standard and should be seen as a standard thing to do. And we shouldn't be giving men excuses or, the ability to just say, well, it's not my thing, or whatever it is. Isn't it hard for them to do? Sure, it's hard, but just how, having a baby is hard, says Meredith. People think women have some superior ability to do this stuff because we don't, we just do it, referring back to the text that Andy sent. She tears up, she gave so much and he left so easily. I just want men to provide the same amount of loving care to others that they provide for themselves, is how this study ends. Now, I will go ahead and add that when I was doing some more research on this topic and trying to find some other articles and trying to find some other examples of people who were abandoned by their shitty-ass husbands while they were sick, or maybe shitty-ass boyfriends, I guess, at the same time, I did happen to find a Reddit thread where a lot of guys were on there saying, oh, these research studies are proven to be false, and here's another link to some other study that shows that there was wrong. And of course, I didn't even bother reading these links, because the response to most of those guys were, you didn't even read your own study because it doesn't say what you thought it said. And these are probably the same idiots who point at studies to be like, ivermectin is good. These are the same idiots who want to believe, all the bullshit that was being spread about, whatever, silver, or, tank cleaner, or whatever. All the other remedies that were being, pushed around by the MAGA type folks during the beginning of the COVID pandemic. These people will cite their studies and they'll say, oh, do your own research, or whatever it is. But meanwhile, the research has been done by actual experts, and they're just wanting to, go up against it. Why are these men wanting to go against it? Why? It's simply because of the fact that they don't want to change the status quo. They don't like the fact that there are situations where men are being expected to do more, and these low-quality men want it to be the same way as it was before. That's why you have the so-called male loneliness epidemic, which is only caused by the men themselves who are lonely, because women have realized, hey, we don't have to put up with these crappy low standards. We can set higher standards for ourselves, and these men can go F off. Go get yourself a, bottle of lube or something if that's what's going to make you feel better.
Oh my.
Go use some other inanimate object. Don't treat, somebody who is supposed to be your partner as just, a human fleshlight. Don't do that. But again, as I've said before, men need to do better. As an interesting side note, one of my clips that I made about the whole consent issue, and and the videos that I made about how men should be better as it pertains to understanding consent, or that people should be better at understanding consent. I didn't even mention men in this video. I put this whole video up, and it went up on TikTok. And one of the first responses I got on TikTok was from a guy that basically said, "You're being a misogynist by saying that, saying this about men, and then saying that men have to do this, and that, but whatever, and that men get punished, but women don't if they have drunken sex or whatever." And I was like, go watch that video again. I never once said anything about the gender of the people. That you can have people who are violating consent, regardless of their gender, simply because of the fact that they didn't take the time to actually get consent. It's as simple as that. But as you know, Andrew Gillum said from Florida, hit dogs holler, right? There are people who are going to be, you know, they're going to see something as an attack. And I was like, you should do a little bit of introspection here and figure out why it is that when I made this general statement that had nothing to do with gender, that you automatically assumed that I was talking about guys. Maybe there's a reason for that. And why is the reason for that? Because men need to do better. But many men don't like to be called out on their bullshit. And if you're a man who is trying to do better, I'm not talking to you. These conversations, we're not talking about y'all. We're talking about the others who, you know, make up the rule. The exceptions to the rule prove the rule. And if you're unwilling to better yourself, you're part of the problem. Look, I'm willing to sit here and admit I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I know I can do better, but I'm trying to do better as well as I can. I'm trying, and I'm open for, if I make a mistake, I want people to correct me. I want people to tell me, you screwed this up. This is how you hurt me. This is the effect you caused to me. You messed up. Make it right. And I'll be more than happy to try and make it right as best as I possibly can. Because, you know, maybe it's because I was raised right. I don't know. But you have a lot of other people who were not raised right. Maybe there's a society that's raising many of these guys wrong, who are treating them that, you know, that they should be able to stick to the old status quo and not improve themselves at all. Anyway. Wait, CSL's like, bringing in YouTube and Twitch in 8 to 10 minutes. Much love, Dan. And how long ago was that? Because I'm almost done with the show. We could open up the phone lines, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, that's going to be the end of this. I was recording this whole video because I didn't necessarily want to have it be clipped. I wanted it to be a whole last thing. Of course, it's now 20 minutes, so maybe the clips will be beneficial. I don't know. But we'll at least try and hang around a little bit for the sparklers to come. And actually, I do have something else that I did want to respond to. I had it down here, so I guess we can. It was his little presser thing that he held today. You know, that Donald Trump, not the one about the tax day thing that Hal was looking at earlier, but a different one. But after this one, we will go ahead and open up the phone lines and take phone calls. And it's getting warm in my house. It's a pain in the ass. Anyway, let's go ahead and or stop recording that because we don't need to record that anymore. Let's go ahead and open back up the laptop here. Oh, it's President Trump again, talking about his bullshit, and we're gonna talk about his bullshit again. So anyway, let's go ahead and do some responses to that. And hell, maybe we'll do another response video to kill some time for the sparklers. But I mean, this is a 26-minute long video, so maybe, just maybe, in the gaggle, as they call it, we'll be able to get some sparklers in here and help the algorithm. Because again, Al Gore needs more rhythm. Stephanie says, Central California only got to 71 degrees today. Man, we're like in our 80s right now. Anyway, Babble Hank, a bar in hell, is it served on the rocks? Well, I mean, that's the point. It's like it's a tavern in Hades. The bar is so low that it's a tavern in Hades. That's why, that's the joke or whatever. Good to see you, Hoosier Scott. Thank you for joining. The Pit finale was really, really good. I haven't even gotten to watch the Pit. There's so much other stuff that I'm trying to watch or whatever. Big Hook says that meal that looked like the dog's breakfast after the cat threw it up. Pretty damn much, exactly. There wasn't a lot of comments in the chat. Usually when I have a rant that's like 20 minutes long, I usually get a lot more comments about what I was talking about. I guess y'all weren't agreeing with me. Is that why there wasn't a lot of comments? I don't know. Let me just go ahead. I'm going to mute myself a brief second so I can. Anyway, I wanted to make an announcement on the Alexa, and I didn't want to have everybody else's be affected by that, so that's why I muted myself. Well, whatever. Trish said, game, I was multitasking, to be honest, but yes, I agree with you. Men need to do better. Yes, we do. Anyway, so I'm back on non-muted. I want to just verify that, so I don't have to do a late April Fool's joke or whatever, right? Anyway, let's go ahead and start listening to all Donny Boy has to say. I mean, look at that hair. I mean, look. We typically, I mean, he could have done something better with his hair, right? I mean, look, we typically don't talk about how people look, but, you know, I mean, he looks terrible. He looks absolutely terrible here. I will make an excuse. I'll make an exception for mocking Donald Trump's, at least his hair and his earned skin. But, you know, anybody else, yeah, we don't talk about how they look. We talk about things that, you know, we talk about other things like what they do, what they say. But, I mean, he's so evil that I don't care. Spring nesting brain hair. Yeah, exactly. Some nest is going to, some bird's going to form in that nest up there.
On the Pope. The Pope criticized people who, quote, manipulate religion for political or military gain. Do you think that he's talking about you, sir?
It's very important that the Pope understands. Very, very important. It'd be nice not to say it. Iran killed 42,000 people that were totally unarmed. They were protesters. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they did
you just got rid of it last year, though, didn't you? Didn't you get rid of the ability for them to drop a nuke or create a nuke last year by, you know, Operation Midnight Hammer? It was hammer time. But no.
country and...
Hey, the Sparklers are here. Good to see you, Sparklers. Hey, DB Golding, good to see you. Welcome, Hal Sparks. Welcome to all of these Sparklers coming on in. Good to see you, Penny to Create. Good to see you, CSL. Y'all, the Sparklers, happen to miss my 20-minute long rant that I did about, just to give you just an example. We'll rewind this, I guess, a little bit. Or let's rewind what we said about what Trump is saying right here in this, you know, whatever. Just to say, the 20-minute video that I made pertaining to spouses who leave their spouses or significant others who leave their significant others who are sick, and it's typically men more likely to do it than women when they do it. We did like a 20-minute video on that and how men need to do better. So if you happen to want to see that, you could either rewind this at either when the show ends or whatever, just rewind back to about 20 minutes before the raid, or you can watch it when it uploads tomorrow at some point. So just to let y'all know that. Good to see you. The Goddess Kimchi's in the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you, Bob LeBlanc. Good to see you, Mr. Magoo. Let's see. Orb Rumor. Good to see you. Leaf Me Alone Mike. Thank you for joining. Christine. Nice to see you as well. Happy birthday. Hey, Pizza Dude. Wundermom over there. Ariane New. Moon Girl. Spherical Man. Are you related to Particle Man or Triangle Man? Spherical Man does whatever a spherical can. Or is that Circle Man? Or did they already have a Circle Man? I don't know. Fansan, good to see you as well. Thank you for joining. Appreciate everybody for coming on along with the show. Good to see you, Water Goddess. Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. And let's see. Anybody else I can miss to say? Stephanie, good to see you too. Janelle, thank you all for joining. Appreciate you. Anyway, so as I was saying, for the folks who are coming over, if you want to see my discussion about how men need to do better as it pertains to relationships and with sick spouses, and the reason that spurred this on is because I'm in a group about how, you know, guys need to do better. And in that group, somebody had brought up the fact that their significant other, spouse, or what have you had left them in the middle of like dealing with stage 4 cancer. And I'm like, unfortunately, this is not a rare occurrence. Unfortunately, this happens more likely than you might think. And with my wife being in the hospital, it made me think, you know, I can't fathom the idea of like leaving my wife when she's in this situation. I can't fathom the idea of leaving my wife, period. But like, you know, if you are with your spouse, if you're married to somebody and you would leave like this once they get sick, you don't love that person. You don't care about that person. You don't respect the person. You're basically just using that person for either emotional, physical, or sexual labor. That's all. That's all you're doing with that individual. If you're willing to leave that quickly, that's all that person is for you. No ifs, ands, or but. I did see that Hal sang you a happy birthday. I was still watching when Hal sang you the happy birthday. But I sang it to you yesterday, right? So, and Hal's over here on the chat as well. But anyway, short being, there's a 20-minute video that I kind of recorded live as we were doing it, talking about how guys need to be better, how guys need to do a better job as it pertains to improving themselves, to being more self-aware, and to, you know, if you are in a relationship with somebody and you would leave that person if that person got ill, then you don't really love that person, you don't really care to be with that person, and as such you should leave that person. You know, we can't all be like awesome husbands like Hal, who is clearly doing what he needs to do to help Summer through everything that she's going through, and I would like to think that I'm being a good husband as well, trying to take care of all of the needs that my wife has while she's in the hospital, and then we'll continue to do so when she comes home to take care of her as well. But, you know, that's because we happen to actually love our spouses and care about them, or love the people that we're with and care about them, and we want to make sure that they are well taken care of because, you know, they are our partners. Unfortunately, too many men do not consider the people that they're with to be actual partners in their relationship. So anyway, let's go back to watching Donald talking about the Pope. Just to make sure those people who are coming in on YouTube, just a reminder, just always make sure as you come in to smash that like button, share the stream, etc. And no, YouTube, I am not going to insert ads as people are coming into the goddamn chat. That's stupid and dumb. I'm never going to do that, not one bit. I wish I could just turn that notification off because it's a stupid thing to do. Anyway, yeah, look at the wild hair. It's so wild. My hair is the greatest. Nobody has better hair. Anyway.
It's very, very important. It'd be nice not to say it. Iran killed 42,000 people that were totally unarmed. They were protesters.
And you were threatening to take out 93 million people, or at least make Iran so uninhabitable that the 93 million people can't live there anymore by taking out their infrastructure, by taking out their electricity, by taking out their water processing plants to remove the salination from it. That's what you were threatening to do. You know, while obviously killing 40-something thousand. And look, if this number is coming from y'all, I don't believe you. We don't believe the Trump administration on anything that they talk about, or any number that they give. If it helps them, it's going to be artificially high. If it hurts them, the number is going to be artificially low. So we don't believe the numbers, but even if the number is accurate, you fucking threatened to take out the infrastructure in Iran that would make it livable and habitable for 93 million people that would have caused many, many more deaths. And y'all have no problem, you know, killing American citizens, be they one or two, by ICE agents. You have no problems with the people that die in custody from ICE. Y'all have no problems, you know, attacking people needlessly and killing people needlessly as well. So miss me with all of this crap, old Donnie boy.
Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
And again, you said that they wouldn't have a nuclear weapon because Operation Midnight Hammer, right?
They did every country, including Italy, where he stationed every single country in.
And thank you, Triva, for becoming a liberal Danimal. Appreciate you.
In the world would be in trouble. So we're doing very well with respect to that, having to do with the whole situation on Iran. The blockade is amazing. It's holding up.
It's the best blockade. Nobody's blockade is better than our blockade. It's the best blockade ever. Hey, Jennifer, good to see you as well.
Very strong, very powerfully.
Exactly, Christine. He also had no problem with the hundreds of thousands that needlessly died during COVID-19, as we hear during our song, if Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Hey, Andrea, welcome. Thank you for rating. Appreciate you. Again, 48 likes with 131 viewers. Make sure to smash that like button, help the algorithm, because Al Gore needs more rhythm. And if you want an algorithm shirt, you can also buy an algorithm short from the Liberal Den Radio store, which I'm sure Jolie or Aaron will share the link to in both chats shortly.
And I think we're making a lot of progress in that. But the Pope has to understand Iran, very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The world would be in great danger.
Iran, but I took it out, so I did my job, and I took out the ability of Iran having a nuclear weapon, but I'm still going to go to that well to justify the murder of people, you know.
Mr. President, would you meet with the Pope to even out your differences, because Catholics are torn?
I don't think it's necessary.
I'm not going to meet the Pope. I don't like the new Pope. I like classic Pope. I like Diet Pope, because Diet Pope helps me cure cancer. Little callback there.
Mr. President, you spoke with Prime Minister Modi just a couple of days ago. What was the conversation like? What is it that is on the table now?
I had a very good talk with him, and he's a friend of mine from India, and he's doing great. We had a very good conversation.
Very informative there, Donnie boy.
Are you considering extending the ceasefire with Iran?
With who?
With Iran.
With who else do you have a ceasefire with, you dumbass?
We're doing very well, I can tell you. Maybe it'll happen before that. I'm not sure it needs to be extended. Just so you know, Iran wants to make a deal, and we're...
Iran wants to make a deal, but not the deal that I want, and I'm gonna lie about it. They'll tell them, I'll say that they say one thing, and I won't say the other, because Iran doesn't have the cards. We have the cards, although I'm not playing with a full deck.
Dealing very nicely with them. We've got to have no nuclear weapons. If we do, that's a big factor. And they're willing to do things today that they weren't willing to do 2 months ago.
What exactly are they willing to do today that they weren't willing to do a few months ago, Donnie boy?
Oh my.
Anyway.
Any news about Ukraine? Do you have any news regarding peace in Ukraine?
Will Hezbollah stick to the ceasefire? Are you confident about that?
I think they will. I think it's going to be, actually it's very exciting because it's 48 years. We're going to be meeting with Bibi Netanyahu, as you know, and the president of Lebanon. And I had a great talk with both of them today. They're going to be having a ceasefire. And that'll include...
I mean, that was already announced that they're already having a ceasefire, so we already know this.
Hezbollah, and I think it could be number 10 for me.
And which number 10? I mean, you haven't even done the first one yet. You haven't even done the first one you promised to do on day one, which is, you know, bring peace between the Russians and the Ukrainians. You haven't done that. And obviously you haven't brought peace to the Middle East because Israel's still attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. So where's all this peace? Again, as the song says, how can we trust the board of peace when it's peace that he's bored of, right? Wait, leave me alone. Dan does my second favorite Trump voice impression. Wow, I'm impressed. I've always thought that my Trump impression was really not great. Who does the best one? Maybe I can model it off of there and make some more changes to make sure. Ooh, Aaron sent a gift. Awesome. I don't even... Stay hydrated. Thank you, Aaron. Everybody should stay hydrated. Yes. Unfortunately, now that he's killed most of the leadership, he's dealing with a bunch of really young guys who probably consider themselves to be invincible. I don't give a flying F. Yeah, pretty much.
Ukraine. Do you have any news regarding peace in Ukraine?
Oh, 550 joules. I think that might be the first time that somebody used joules on the channel. So thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. Your Trump voice is too loud. Well, isn't it always loud? He's always too loud. I wish he would shut up.
Ukraine is moving along. I wish they could get along, frankly. A lot of people are dying in Ukraine. We'll see what happens. There's things happening there. We're focused so much right now in Iran, seeing if we can get that completed.
I promised it on day one, but, you know, it's still not happening, and it won't happen because I'm Putin's bitch.
And I think if you look, the stock market is good. The oil prices are coming down.
Again, stock market doesn't benefit the vast majority of American people. The stock market benefits the ultra wealthy, much like your tax cuts that mostly help the wealthy people making over $200,000 a year. But let's go on.
And it's looking very good that we're going to make it.
I need helicopter noises in the background. Just a... I don't know if I could do the voice while making the helicopter sound. Anyway. Exactly, Handy Girl. He said he could kill someone he could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue, and his supporters will still support him. And, you know, what's sad is that that's probably one of the most truthful things that he's ever said in his life.
Deal with Iran, and it's going to be a good deal. It's going to be a deal with no nuclear weapons.
Mr. President, when is the next in-person round of negotiations on the war in Iran?
They're all up.
Look at the people just behind there, just like texting on their phones or whatever, just in the shot or whatever. That's I don't know, just silly.
I mean, it's not a question of around. All of them are brought.
When will the next in-person
probably, maybe over the weekend.
Wait, will you send the Vice President?
Maybe over the weekend. Just so you understand, the blockade has been incredible. It's been.
You send the Vice President. Well, he did such a great job with Viktor Orban that, you know. Water Goddess, the kid from the Unfuck America tour, not IRI or Destiny, but the other kid sitting at the table did the best Trump I've ever seen. I didn't know what his name was, though. As soon as someone would get on the mic and start repeating talking points, he interrupts them with his impression. It's so good. I'll have to check that one out, too.
It's held. They're not.
Yeah, the thing about Trump is that he occasionally tells the truth. Occasionally. You know, when he's actually telling the truth about himself, he'll tell the truth. But, you know, when it comes to, you know, things that misleading the American public, he'll do that more often.
Doing any business, they're unable to do any business because of the blockade. And so the combination of...
And we're going to give him the business, unable to do the business.
Having no Navy, having no Air Force, having no anti-aircraft equipment, they have nothing. Everything is...
Water Goddess says, on accident, it just slips out.
Oh my.
Sorry. Had to put an oh my in there.
It's gone, including their leaders. Now they have a new set of leaders, and we find them very reasonable.
Until we don't, then I'll find new leaders. We'll do another regime change. We'll change regimes like I change underwear several times a day.
Minimum to stop enriching uranium. Would you?
Well, we haven't agreed to any. We haven't agreed to any. What we have is we have a statement very...
I tell them, they say they want to enrich uranium, but I say you've got to NPOR it. Not enrich, but NPOR, because I have the best words. Nobody has better words.
Very powerful statement that they will not have, beyond 20 years, that they will not have nuclear weapons. That's beyond. There's no 20-year limit.
Leave me alone. Does he change his underwear? I would have to assume that every time he shits his pants that he would have to change his underwear. And if you've missed that song that I made about it, instead of the man who sold the world, I did the man who shits his pants, or who shat his pants or whatever, and that's a video that's available on liberaldanradio.com on your YouTube channel. So there you go. I'm not playing it live because it would give me a copyright hit.
Any updates on Greenland, Mr. President?
I think that Todd Blanche is doing a
that camera's just way too close to him. I mean, ugh.
Very good job from what I'm saying. I mean, all I can say thus far, I think Todd Blanche is doing a very good job.
If there's no deal, would you be willing to extend the ceasefire, or will the fighting resume, Mr. President?
I would say the fighting. If there's no deal, fighting resume.
Okay. And then on gas prices, how much longer will Americans continue to see these high gas prices?
Well, they're not very high. If you look at...
They're not very high. They're not very high to me because I don't have to pay for my own gas. It comes from the tax dollars, and I don't drive anyway, so I don't have to do it. I don't see it, and if Trump can't see it, it must not exist.
If Trump can't see it, you must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. Object permanent, a milestone missed. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist.
What they were supposed to be in order to get rid of a nuclear weapon, with the danger that entails. So the gas prices have come down very much over the last 3-4 days. I know, you know, and that's what ABC says, but the fact is...
And ABC is fake news, and I don't believe them because I don't see the signs, and it doesn't exist. Jesus Christ, he's such a fucking loon.
That if you look at...
Yeah, exactly. He thought they would go higher. They're not as high as they could be, so it's like glass half empty or half full. But my glass is always full of Diet Coke, which helps me cure cancer.
The stock market's up. Everything's doing really well. And the big thing we have to do is we have to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon. Because
how many times are you going to fucking say that? Yes, we get it. You want to make sure, and we thought you already did. But you lied then, you lied now, you lie all the time. You're just a lying liar who lies.
If they do, you want to talk about problems, you'd have problems. So very important is that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, and they've agreed to that. Iran's agreed to that, and they've agreed to it very powerfully.
Kimchi. Valid point to the goddess Kimchi over there. Trump has not worn underwear in 20 years. He wears diapers, even on Apprentice. Or, does he wear underwears or boxers or briefs or whatever? Depends.
Agreed to give us back the nuclear dust. It's way underground because of the attack.
We're going to get the dust. Although when I say we're going to get the dust from Iran, Don Jr. gets very excited. I have to remind him it's not that kind of dust.
We made with the B-2 bomber. So we have a lot of agreement with Iran, and I think something's going to happen very positive.
You've already agreed to that, then what are you waiting on?
Very complicated subject. It's, I don't think we're waiting. I think we're moving very fast. It could happen pretty quickly.
We're not waiting. It's moving fast, but it could happen, but it might. But if it doesn't, we're going to invade. We're going to attack some more.
How long you could sustain the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz?
The what?
How long you could keep the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz?
We're doing very well with the blockade. It's very routine for us. The Navy is incredible. And I think the blockade is doing very well. It's no ship is even thinking about entering. No ship is going past our...
No what? No chip? Chip? Is that what you're saying? Chip?
Why are you fighting with the Pope? And are you worried it's upsetting your
No, I don't. I have to do what's right. The Pope has to understand.
If he had to do what's right, then whatever. And I don't understand why evangelicals would be mad, maybe, about, you know, him criticizing the Pope, because evangelicals tend to not, the rabid evangelical folks tend to not like the Catholics. As Tom Lehrer says in National Brotherhood Week, oh, the Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants, and the Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews. But during National Brotherhood Week, Donald Trump and AOC are dancing cheek to cheek. That's my rewording of it. But anyway, yeah, Chinese ships have moved through the strait. Let's see. What about? I don't know. I kind of might have missed an answer there, or missed a question right there. I don't know. Bald Thanos says, Dan, DoorDash grandma uncovered today works for a lobbying firm that lobbies for DoorDash. Of course, because it was all staged. Everything this president does is staged to benefit him and trying to make him look good. Yeah, because I'm sure DoorDash granny wasn't making any tips off of that.
And that's very simple. I have nothing against the Pope. His brother's MAGA all the way. I like his brother, Louis. I'm not fighting with him. The Pope made a statement. He says Iran can have a nuclear weapon. I say
the Pope never said that, you goddamn liar. That is the disingenuousness of the MAGA right. That is their disingenuous. They believe that because we disagree with what you're doing and how you're doing it, that means somehow we want Iran to have a nuke. We don't want Iran to have a nuke. Iran having a nuke is a terrible thing, but you said you cured that, you dealt with that problem last year, and apparently you didn't. So when is it? And you don't have to threaten to take out the infrastructure that supports 93 million people to make sure that Iran doesn't have nukes. You could do something like, you know, have inspectors be in there to make sure that they could make sure that nothing is going on hinky in the middle of, you know, their power plants or wherever it is that they would have their uranium that might be being used for nuclear fuel. If only we ever had somebody else who might have done that and negotiated such a deal to make sure that, you know, they were having inspectors in there and not creating nuclear weapons. If only we could do that at the low cost of giving them back their own money. Man, who could have done that? We would probably have a really great president in the Oval Office if somebody could do that. Oh, wait, that was Obama that did that already. Anyway.
Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And if the Pope looked at the 42,000 people that were killed over the last 2 or 3 months as a protester with no weapons, no nothing.
The Pope's I'm sure has looked at that and would condemn that, but the Pope would also look at the threat to 93 million people that you made and say that's not very Christ-like. That's not very Christian of you, sir. Maybe the Pope should pull out a sir every once in a while just to, you know, kiss his ass because he likes his ego stroked.
I mean, you take a look at that. So I can disagree with the Pope. I have a right to disagree. I have a right to disagree with the Pope.
Again, I like classic Pope. I don't like the new Pope.
What do you say to people who see that, who see your criticism?
You can't have, look, nothing, I have no disagreement with the fact the Pope can say what he wants, and I want him to say what he wants, but I can disagree. I think that Iran...
I know more about Christianity than the Pope does. Believe you me, I have the best understanding. Nobody understands Jesus like me. Right?
Cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they do, the whole world would be at jeopardy. The Middle East will be blown up and the whole world will be at jeopardy. We're very close to making a deal. That'll be a great thing. The Pope has some...
I don't believe you. Again, it took 15 months for the Obama administration and their professional people who actually care about the country and who actually want to do the job properly. It took 15 months to reach a deal to get the inspectors in there to make sure that they wouldn't be able to, you know, create a nuclear weapon, and you just threw that away like it was nothing. And now you gave up after 21 hours, which again, as I said on the previous show, only goes to show that President Obama has much more stamina than you.
Understand, Iran is...
That's Surrender Monkey. That's Dr. Jesus D-Den. All right, Lord, I apologize. But yes, exactly, Henny Girl. He's not a Christian. He's not a Catholic. He's not a Christian. I even sometimes question if he's a human.
Has killed more than 42,000 people over the last few months. Think of it. Protesters without guns, without anything. They were totally unarmed protesters.
And it's a damn shame when the government of a country would, you know, take out unarmed protesters who are protesters who were just there and not causing a threat to anybody. You know, leaders of countries that do that should absolutely lose their jobs, right?
The Pope has to understand that. This is the real world. It's a nasty world. But as far as the Pope...
And it's realer and nastier since I've been president. Nobody has seen the nastiness like me. Nastiness like you've never seen.
Pope, and saying what he wants, he can do that. Now, I know the Pope's brother. He is a big MAGA person. He's got MAGA all over his house. His name is Louis. He's actually a great guy. And I'm sure the Pope is a great guy. I haven't met him. But I disagree with...
But I don't want to meet him, but I'll talk badly about him, and I'll send my goons to criticize him.
The Pope. If the Pope would allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon...
The Pope doesn't have any say in that. The Pope doesn't have a giant military that can go invade and threaten to take out the infrastructure that supports 93 million people's ability to live there.
You can't do that.
President Trump, anti-numerous shot from MTV.
No, not really.
Anti-numerous shot from MTV Lebanon.
What?
Anti-numerous shot from MTV Lebanon. I would like to ask you regarding congratulations for the 10th war.
Yeah, it's very exciting. With Lebanon, it's very exciting. I think we're going to have a deal. We're going to have a meeting, first time in 44 years. And Lebanon will be meeting with Israel, and they're probably going to do it at the White House.
When do you think, President, when do you think they will...
Over the next week or two.
Over the next week, and do you think this agreement can reach...
I do. I think they're going to... I think we will have an...
What is he going to say? No, I don't think it's going to happen. Is he going to say that? He would never admit any sort of failure. So of course he's going to say that it'll happen and it'll be great and it'll be wonderful, because he sugarcoats everything. He sugarcoats so many things, I'm surprised we all don't have diabetes at this point.
Agreement between Lebanon, and they're going to take care of Hezbollah, but they're going to be...
Pam says, the Pope speaks to matters of morality and decency, two things that Donald Trump has never had. Preach on.
We're working on Hezbollah right now, but we'll have an agreement between Israel, very importantly, and Lebanon.
Will you support our Lebanese army as well?
I would, yeah.
Iran's going to...
Diabetes. Very. That deserves a yeah as well.
Agree to the ceasefire? I mean, how do you even...
They're all agreeing. It's a very nice little package for about a week.
A very nice little package, huh? Is that what Stormy said as well?
Oh my.
Anyway, let's continue.
And we're not going to have lots of bombs dropping, and we're going to see if we can make peace between Lebanon and Israel.
And this is more on the Pope, Mr. President, because there was a group of bishops that did put out a statement saying the Pope isn't merely exercising his opinion, he's preaching the gospel. I mean, what do you say to people that view this as
I
an
want him
attack
to
on
preach the
Catholic
gospel.
Church?
I'm all about the gospel, but I also know that you cannot let a certain country, which is a very mean-spirited country, have a nuclear...
Thank you, Bald Tanos. While you enjoy this tax-free tip, my 50th birthday is Monday. This guy has given me reason every day to not live past 50, so I'm having ice cream. Enjoy some ice cream for me as well, and thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. The super tip, they should call it, right? Yeah, I don't know. Are you going to be here Monday? Otherwise, you know, I'll sing you happy birthday Monday as well.
Weapon. If they did, they would use it, and I think they'd use it quickly, and they would kill many millions of people. So You know, the Pope could disagree with me on that.
They would kill 11 billion people, and there'd be more people dead than no one's ever seen.
But certainly we're allowed to have that. I'm all about the gospel. I'm
I'm so glad I didn't watch this video first before actually responding to it, because I wouldn't have had this good of a laugh. He's all about the gospel, yo. He is all about the gospel. The gospel of how to make myself a rich motherfucker. That's his gospel.
About it as much as anybody can be, but I can't allow, as President of the United States of America, I can't allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. And here's the story. They won't have. They've already agreed not to have.
If they've agreed not to have it, then why are we still blockading? Why are we still there if they're already have agreed to it? Clearly they haven't already agreed to it because, you know, you're still blockading. You're still over there. You're still putting our troops in harm's way for your ridiculous shit. Your military excursion, as you call it, like a fucking dumbass.
That's good news, and I think the Pope will be very happy.
Could you picture him, Josh sees, in a gospel choir? Amen. Amen. Sorry. Man, there should be like a gospel version of if Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That might have to be something I do. I don't know. We'll see.
The Federal Reserve should wait and see about this Iran war before lowering interest rates. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree. I think we should have lower interest rates.
I think we should have negative interest rates so I can borrow a whole bunch of money and then return it and then get paid, make bank, because I like to make bank. I'm all about making the money.
Iran's going to execute 4 more protesters, reportedly, including the first woman protester. What do you tell Iran?
Well, tell that to the Pope. What do you say? Tell that to the Pope.
You want to patch things up with the Pope?
That Iran is going to... Did you just hear that? Iran is going to execute 4 people, including
President Trump, the Lebanese love you so much. When you visit Lebanon,
Do you extend the ceasefire? What makes you to extend that?
I don't know if we're going to have to, but if we need to, I would do that.
Wait, that's important. Sorry.
Airlines. What are you telling the airlines and the oil companies about the way you're going to open up the Strait of Hormuz?
If you look at the oil and if you look at the price we're paying, it's about half what people thought it would be if you...
Which is still bad. I mean, if it would have been double what we currently have now, you know, that would be really terrible. But, you know, again, I don't even believe Donald Trump's figures again. Why would we believe what Donald Trump says about what the experts supposedly say that gas would be after the invasion of Iran? And you still have time, Donald. You still have time to make it higher. And you want it to be higher because it benefits the oil companies. The U.S. oil production companies make more money if the Strait of Hormuz is blocked and if the Iran is embargoed or whatever. They make more money because the price of oil is a global commodity, and as such, it's benefiting American oil producers more. And so they're loving the fact that they're able to make a whole shit ton more money because of your shitty foreign policy.
You did what I had to do. We had to take this journey to the Middle East in order to get rid of a nuclear weapon. There would have been, if we didn't...
There was no nuclear weapon there. There's no nuclear weapons. Again, you supposedly bombed it last year. You supposedly took away the ability last year, but they didn't have a nuclear weapon. Do we want Iran to have nukes? No. I don't want Trump having nukes either.
Hit him with the B-2 bombers, or if I didn't kill the Barack Hussein-Obama deal, the nuclear deal, which was a disaster.
It was actually working, you dumb motherfucker.
We would have had nuclear weapons exploding in the Middle East and beyond. I believe I've been able to stop that.
You believe, yeah. You believe a lot of things.
I think we have a very successful negotiation going on right now, and I think it'll be, if it happens, it'll be announced fairly soon, and that'll give us free oil, free Hormuz Strait, everything will be nice.
Free oil, huh? We're getting free oil? Is that what you think? That we're going to get free oil now? Yeah, fuck off.
And I think your oil price...
Yeah, exactly, Christine. What happened to totally obliterated? I don't know. He claimed it was totally obliterated back then, but, you know, he lies.
Price will go down to lower than what it was before, and I think a lot of good things will happen.
Just for clarity, you're willing to extend the ceasefire if there is no deal?
We'll see. I don't know that we'll have to. Ideally, we'll, but if I need...
Well, before he said he would have to, you know, continue the attack if there was no deal. Now he's have to see. Again, Trump is the biggest flip-flopper on the planet, right? Wright said, Rob, this is America, ain't no free nothing. Exactly. The uranium grew back like his ear. Exactly.
The Lebanese people love you so much. What do you say? The Lebanese people love you so much. What's your message for them? And you will visit Lebanon after
Yeah,
this deal?
I will do that. At the right time, I would certainly go there.
I'll go there when we start developing the new Trump resort in Lebanon. Trump Beirut. Just like we're going to have Trump Gaza. It'll be great. The best resort anyone's ever seen.
He doesn't want to stop it, apparently. He's bombing Ukraine. You think this war has the potential to go on for years more?
Well, it should have never started.
And you said you were going to end it on day one, but you didn't. What happened there, Donnie boy?
If I were president, the war in Ukraine never would have started.
Well, but you might be right there, Donnie boy. You might be right that the war might have never started, but it's for the wrong reason. It's not because, Putin's afraid of you. It's because you're Putin's bitch. It's because you, in your first term, worked to weaken NATO. You ceded power to Putin in the Middle East. So you took many steps that where Vladimir Putin expanded his global influence and didn't even have to fire a single bullet, launch a single rocket, launch a single drone, lose a single soldier. Because you were doing his dirty work for him by weakening NATO and ceding power to him in the Middle East. Then we actually had some sense and we elected Biden, and that's when Putin was like, well, okay, I cannot get Biden to give me what Trump gives me, so I have to take it another way. So we will go invade Ukraine and try and take back. And, maybe we get Trump back and then I don't have to do any more invasions. But we're already invading, so why do I need to stop invasion at this point? There's no need to. And Trump's not going to stop me because he's my bitch. Right? Anyway.
Russia.
Let's see. Water Goddess, I will say the Iranians aren't as sure as they are going to be liberated. They are getting nervous that it's just going to be the same regime in place. And if the regime is allowed to stay in place, there's going to be a really, really, really bad purge, like bad, to tighten their grip and don't care about their people's lives and at all, and not an individual, but as part of the collective. Yep, exactly.
But it's going on.
Yeah, exactly, Joel. He would have conceded everything to Putin.
Hopefully it'll get over soon.
The First Lady came out last week and said she had no link to Jeffrey Epstein.
Who did?
The First Lady, Melania Trump.
She had none.
Why did she come out and say that last week?
Because the fake news was saying she did, and she had none. And I think
the media, which we criticize the corporate media here on Liberal Land Radio, Talk from Left, That's Right, because they failed to do their job in covering Donald Trump, not because they lied about him, but because they didn't tell enough of the truth about him. But they weren't talking as much about Melania and Epstein before she came out and had her little speech that she gave. They're doing it much more now. So, the lady doth protest too much, methinks.
I think that's been proven. It bothered her that the fake news was being fake news. So she just wanted to clarify.
Were you surprised?
Who's taking care of Hezbollah?
Haters gonna hate.
Do you think that they are destroying the deal that you are trying to make?
We're going to see how it all works out, but they'll be working and coordinating. If you know Lebanon, right? So they'll be working with Hezbollah.
No, they're talking about another nation.
Are you still interested in acquiring Iranian oil?
What?
Are you still interested in acquiring Iranian oil after this?
Well, we'll see. I mean,
well, in 2016, he said he wanted to go over there, kill the terrorists, and take their oil. So, I mean, if we are to believe that that was his desire, then absolutely, we would absolutely, want to do that. And he would absolutely want it because he did the same thing with Venezuela.
We have a very good relationship with Iran right now, as hard as it is to believe.
Yeah, you're still at war with them, and it's under a ceasefire, and you're blockading their ports, but yeah, we have a very good relationship with them. What the ever-loving fuck?
And I think it's a combination of about 4 weeks of bombing and a very powerful blockade. The blockade is maybe more powerful than the bombing, if you want to know.
The most powerful blockade that anyone's ever seen.
Are you going to make the Arab countries pay a portion of all of the costs?
I think they'll make that. I think they're going to make that contribution. I think the Arab countries, because we've done a lot, I think they'd make a
56-minute rush, a mockade. Very, very well played. Yes, very good, very good.
Contribution toward the cost.
President Trump,
Not been involved.
President Trump, the deal of Lebanon is different than Iran.
Iranian assets without any condition if you make a deal?
We're going to see what happens, but I think we're very close to making a deal with Iran. You'll be the first to know, but I think we have a...
You'll be the first to know, and then you'll say fake news, and you'll lie about it, but I'll still come out and say it, even though I'm lying too. Anyway.
chance, and if that happens, oil goes way down, prices go way down, inflation goes way down, and...
So you're admitting that inflation is up, huh? Inflation is up? Is that what you're saying? Inflation? If inflation's going down, that means it's up right now, right? Eh? Caught you in one there, Donnie boy. Anyway.
You're going to have, much more importantly than even that, you won't have nuclear holocaust. Thank you.
What's happening now?
Look at the reporter just like cracking up, like, look at this idiot.
Well, possibly, but I think a deal...
Oh, is he gonna... I thought he was leaving. I thought this was over and they had, like, you know, another 13 minutes or 12 minutes or so of this bullshit, but here's more bullshit.
Could be reached, possibly. I would be foolish not to. I mean...
I just say you're foolish, and that's all we need. All that needs to be said, because you are.
We're close to a deal. Would I extend? Yeah, I would do that. But we're close to a deal. We're getting along very well with the new Iranian leaders. It really is. It's...
Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. Anyway.
Regime change. These are people that are a lot different than we were dealing with at the beginning.
But I thought MAGA didn't want regime change other places, and we didn't want to be involved in foreign entanglements, and we were America first, right? Did you lie about that too? I guess so.
You know, they're no longer around. They're no longer with us. But we have a very good relationship, and I think there's a very good chance that we're going to make a deal. Also, is...
Well, oh, wait. Orb rumor, after I said meet the new boss, same as the old boss, scream. Well, I don't have to do it because I have this. Anyway.
Israel and Lebanon, I think there's a good chance that they'll make a good deal. So,
Mr. President, when are they coming here?
In reaction to Russia's overnight attack on Kiev, they killed 20 more Ukrainians.
I think it's terrible.
Mr. President, are you going to...
I think it's terrible. The only reason I say that is because Vladdy allows me. Vladdy, I like to party. I love Vladimir Putin. He's a great leader, and he lets me say these things so I can appear to be strong, even though I'm being bent over the barrel for Vladimir Putin.
Cabinet member to China before your visit?
Well, I have a great relationship, as you know, with President Xi, and I look forward to being there. We have a very special relationship, so I look forward to being in China.
China?
Mr. President, thank you. Mr. President, you impose sanctions on Rwanda because they keep violating the Washington Accord.
Yeah, I do.
But President Kagame just said he don't care about sanctions, and he said he will not withdraw from Congo. His troops will continue in Congo. What is your reaction to
We're
that?
going to look into it very strongly, but they do.
And we're going to go invade over there too and be involved in more foreign entanglements, even though I said we wouldn't be because I lie.
A very big sanction.
Mr. President, there was a G20 meeting in Washington today. Why did you invite Poland instead of South Africa?
Well, Poland's a great country. We like it a lot. We're friends with Poland. The president is doing a great job, so we invited him.
Mr. President, would you agree to the cost
President, I saw your Truth Social posts about Bruce Blakeman in New York. He's being denied up to $7 million of public campaign funds in New York by partisan Democrats. Have you seen that, and what's your reaction to it?
I can just tell you this. Bruce Blakeman is running for governor. He will be a great governor if he wins. I don't know that he wins or not because it's New York. And, you know, people cheat on elections and a lot of other things. But Bruce Blakeman is a great, great gentleman. As you know, he comes from Nassau County, which is a Democrat area, and he wins by a landslide all the time. And if Bruce Blakeman gets in, your taxes are going to go way down, and a lot of good things are going to happen, including cleanliness and all of the things.
And cleanliness is next to godliness, and I know about godliness much more than the Pope. Anyway, let's bring that up real quick to see what is going on. Albany, New York, Democrats have officially kicked GOP gubernatorial candidate Bruce Blakeman out of the state's new public campaign financing system. The move stands to deny the Nassau County executive up to $7 million in public money designed to supplement his small donors, potentially dealing a crippling financial blow to his underdog campaign. Ultimately, the issue is likely to be decided by the judicial branch, with Blakeman almost certain to file a lawsuit challenging the denial. The Long Island Republican is running to challenge incumbent Kathy Hochul in this year's election. The Public Campaign Finance Board consists of 4 Democrats and 3 Republicans, and members voted among party lines. Democrats justified the action by citing a rule they authored in December that says gubernatorial candidates and their running mates must apply jointly to enroll in the public financing system. Blakeman received a letter saying he was certified, and the board never published the required form for joint certification, but since the board hadn't received anything signed by Lieutenant Governor hopeful Todd Hood, Democrats argued they needed to decertify the entire ticket. Todd Hood has never filed anything to participate in the program, Democratic Commissioner Henry Berger said, and I believe he's an essential part of the gubernatorial candidate. The Lieutenant Governor is not yet participating in the program. He has made no effort to participate in the program, but the Republicans, the vote reeked of political gamesmanship. Like the Republicans don't do political gamesmanship. I guarantee you if the roles were reversed, they'd take it away from Governor Holcomb, right? This is an abomination of trying to do bureaucratic nonsense to try and eliminate candidates from an election. GOP Commissioner Brian Kolb said it defeats the whole purpose of Public Campaign Finance Board. Republican Commissioner Tony Casale said the goal of getting running mates to sign a form is to ensure he's covered under any enforcement actions, which is understandable, but it was purely a bureaucratic snafu. He noted the board never made any effort to notify candidates of the new requirement, but shouldn't the candidates know what the requirements are when they run for office? So much for personal accountability, right? We did know, and they didn't know. We didn't tell them. Blakeman is widely expected to be the Republican nominee for governor. The most recent Siena University poll showed him trailing Hochul by 13 points, but it's down from the 26-point lead for the incumbent in January. His campaign attacked Hochul in response to being denied public financing, with the race tightening and her poll numbers sagging. It's no surprise Hochul's hand-picked appointee would vote to take away funds from Bruce Blakeman's campaign. The board removed 5 additional gubernatorial candidates from the program, including Libertarian and GOP hopeful Larry Sharp, despite the plans to boot candidates like him. Sharp said last week he still hasn't heard anything from the board indicating that there might be a problem. So far, I'm all good. He said, I'm in the program. There's now only one gubernatorial candidate left in the public financing program, but that candidate, Skiboki Stora, who was convicted earlier this month of assaulting strangers, an anti-Semitic, anti-female, and anti-white hate crime, is not considered a serious contender to make the ballot. Hochul denied to participate in the voluntary program. We're not popping any champagne corks here, said Barbara Lifton, Democratic Commissioner. I would rather have this go smoothly, have the filings done properly, and be able to say, yes, I do believe in making the program inclusionary, having people use it, but push comes to shove, every candidate knows forms have to be filed. They have to be filed on time. The form Blakeman was required to fill out had still not been created as of the time of the vote. Democrats have said lieutenant governor candidates should have simply applied for the program themselves, even though they're not eligible to participate, and they would have to have their filings merged. So, interesting. You know, of course he's blaming Hochul. Hochul's not taking advantage of the thing at all. So, there you go. Let's see, Hochul should tax the rich, not just the second vacation homes over $5 million, if I recall correctly. I mean, that's one of the things they're going to do. I mean, yes, they should be taxing the rich more than what they tax the rich currently, but the step is a step in the right direction, and is actually a win for Mamdani, who urged the governor to do that, and she went ahead with it. So,
that you want to see. I know him very well. He's been a great leader, a great executive in Nassau County. Even though it's largely Democrat, he wins in a landslide. Everybody loves him. He's a very talented guy, very great politician, and I think he probably has a...
I'm smelling something interesting. It's almost like they're actually cleaning with bleach spray downstairs, and it's like that bleach spray is going through the house. Oh my God, are the kids actually doing work in my house today? I will be shook.
Chance, if Bruce Blakeman gets in, your taxes are going way down, and you know what else is going down? Crime.
The taxes are going way down, sure. The taxes for the wealthy, I'm sure, will drop, and any changes to the taxes of the working class folks will probably remain unchanged, but you'll also have other problems, and they'll probably end up doing much more poorly than they would under Hochul.
President Trump, there are these 10 missing scientists with access to classified stuff, nuclear material, aerospace. They've all gone missing or turned up dead in the last couple months. Based on what you've been briefed, what do you think is happening here, and do you think that this is connected or totally random?
Well, I hope it's random, but we're going to know in the next week and a half. I just left a meeting on that subject, so pretty serious stuff. But we're going to be, hopefully, I don't know, coincidence, if you whatever you want to call it, but Some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next short period.
Is it possible that some foreign adversary is in the United States scooping these people up?
Well, you know, Biden had open borders. It wasn't very hard to get here, but we.
The reason that Biden couldn't deal with the border problem that was happening is that you told the House of Representatives, aka Speaker Johnson, to not vote on it because they had a plan to actually start dealing with it, but you didn't want it to happen because you wanted this whatever problem you thought existed to still exist while you were still running for office.
Gotten many of them out. You know, we've caught many people, many very bad people, including.
I wonder if he's going to throw in the lie that 0 people have crossed the border because, they always go back to that lie.
Thousands of murderers that we've taken out of our country, thousands of drug lords that we've taken.
Thousands of drug lords have been taken out of the country. Not just, dealers, but drug lords. I don't think there's 1,000 drug lords on the planet. And if there are, they weren't here.
Get out of our country. Hundreds of thousands of prisoners that were let into the U.S. that we've taken out of our country.
Again, Donald Trump heard that they were seeking asylum and thought to himself they were being released from an insane asylum. That's how stupid this president is. Donald Trump probably heard, again, that the picture of Jesus was doctored, or the picture of him as a divine entity was doctored, and he probably took that as being, oh, I'm being shown as a doctor, because he's a dumb motherfucker.
As far as the scientists are concerned, we'll probably have a pretty good answer over the next week.
And with the peace talks in Iran, does it have to be a big deal all at once, or would you accept a...
I want a big, beautiful deal. I'm going to call it a big, beautiful deal, but I wish I had 3 Ds. The dumb Donald deal is what the fake lying news media would call it.
Little deal to start.
Well, I have a little deal. I can make a little deal. I want to get it done and get back to keep going with low. Our pricing is doing great. As soon as
helicopters have those bird-killing windmill blades, possibly a bird graveyard under there. Yeah, I hate the windmills. The windmills are terrible. I don't like them, but But who cares about the birds that are killed by the helicopters, the whirly-birds, if you will.
A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills.
The war is over, we're going to be lower than we were 2 or 3 years ago. So I want to get back to that. We had to do something. We had to make sure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. And we're at that. They've agreed to that. They've totally agreed to that. They've agreed to almost everything. So maybe if they can...
So then why are we still there? Why can't you work it out? But you can't because you're not the art of the deal guy. People claimed you were, but you're not a deal maker.
Get to the table. There's a difference. They agree. They got to get to the table.
They're going to come to the table, but they don't have any cards. I have the cards, even though I don't have a full deck.
With a pen. We'll have that over with. And then we can focus on our great economy. And also, I inherited the highest prices in the history of our country, the worst inflation in the history of our country.
And then I made it worse.
I'll get it down to a very low number. We had it to a very low number, and it's still low.
And just as a reminder to all of y'all, about what Trump did to our prices. During the middle of the pandemic, especially with oil prices, during the middle of the pandemic, demand for oil tanked, obviously, because people were using much less fuel, much less oil, etc. So the price of oil was cratering. There was actually a time where people were having to pay other people to store the oil because there was just so much supply that they had to pay people to take it off their hands or whatever. It was just that bad. And so Donald Trump tried to make a deal with Russia and OPEC to basically say, hey, let's artificially reduce the manufacturing and the production of oil so that we can stabilize the price of oil to help benefit the American oil producers and I guess other oil producers as well across the world. I'm not saying that's a bad concept. It's probably something that needed to be done, except the way he did it was stupid because there was no caveat there as it pertained to when production should ramp back up linked to demand for oil and gas. So in 2022, and the plan that he signed was set to go into like April of 2022. So before that was ending, guess what? Demand started skyrocketing up for oil because people wanted to drive around more. So demand goes up with artificially low supply. Supply and demand dictates that the price of oil is going to skyrocket too. And all the people wanted to blame Biden for it, but it was Trump's shitty deal that caused it to happen in the first place. So.
But the most important thing right now is to make sure Iran can never have a nuclear weapon.
Again, thought you already did that.
Would you ever go to Pakistan to seal the deal yourself?
I would go to Pakistan, yeah.
I am great about sealing the deal. I would grab Pakistan by the hoo-ha.
Pakistan has been great. They've been so good. Islamabad, I might go. Yeah.
I used to think it was bad to call it Islamabad. I thought it was Islamagud, but now it's Islamabad. Maybe they'll change it to Islamagud when I'm there. Who knows?
If the deal is signed in Islamabad, I might go. The field marshal has been great. The prime minister has been really great in Pakistan.
And I'll take my big pen and bring it over, and then we'll hand it out to people, and they'll be like, "Thank you, sir, for this wonderful pen."
Pakistan. So I might go. They want me to
Mr.
go.
President, the First Lady last week called on Congress to further look into and uncover the truth on the Epstein files, the Epstein saga. Do you believe that there should be a public hearing for more of these Epstein survivors?
Well, I'm okay with it. I think we've had a lot of public hearings. I'm okay with it, but I understand that the women didn't want to go under oath. That's what I heard. That the women, the victims or whatever,
The women or victims or whatever. Yeah. Such a great guy we have there in the Oval Office.
He refused to go under oath, which was a little surprising. Now, Melania felt strongly about it because she was accused of that I met her through Epstein, but it turned out to be totally false. It was a falsehood.
And some of the other claims that she made don't hold water either. But, you know, hey, it's the fake news, right? The fake news media reporting her chummy emails with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Don't these ceasefire also include Iraq and region?
Are we talking about the one with Lebanon?
Lebanon, Iraq,
yeah,
and
well, the whole thing. So we just made a deal with Lebanon. As of 2 hours from now, we have a ceasefire with Israel and Lebanon, and that'll be great. And they'll be meeting, probably coming to the White House over the next...
Let's see. He was there and forgets how they met. He says, Otis George says, tell us how you met her. I met her at a party of Beffrey Lepstein, who is totally different than Jeffrey Epstein. It's Beffrey Lepstein. It was my good friend and party goer.
4 or 5 days.
Have the Epstein survivors...
And that'll be the first time they've met in 44 years, which is pretty unneighborly when considering they're neighbors, but there's a really good chance that that'll work out with Lebanon and Israel. I met with, through the telephone, with the president of Lebanon, who's a really good guy, highly respected, and with Bibi. And I think there's a chance we'll be meeting right here in the not too distant.
Have the Epstein survivors received justice? Do you think the Epstein survivors are going to receive justice?
I'm going to ignore the Epstein questions because I don't like them.
Israel and Lebanon have tried to make peace before. What's going to be the difference this time?
Me. I'm the difference.
I was literally going to pause it and say that he was going to be like, I'm the difference maker because I'm the art of the deal guy. Easy network. I met him at a bar mitzvah. Mazel tov. Although, would he be like Scott Walker, former governor of Wisconsin, and say Molotov instead of Mazel tov? Who knows? All the ones with the yarmulkes, they all count my money because I only want the Jewish people to count my money because I'm anti-Semitic and perpetuate stereotypes like no one's ever seen.
Big difference. Me.
So, Australia has announced, Mr. President, about taxes. States like Virginia, North Carolina, and New York
Democratic states are looking at raising taxes. Is that going to take away from the tax cuts?
What's happened? No, because, you know, no tax on tips. I'm going over no tax on tips today. That's why I'm going to Nevada, I'm going to Arizona. But this is sort of a no tax on tips. What's happening is people are finding out that in their tax returns, they're getting a big refund, much bigger than they thought.
Nope, that's not true. Again, my refund went from $4,003 last year to like 60-something this year. So no, not everybody's getting the huge cut. And now some of that is because they limited my withholding because they didn't want to have 4,000 waiting on 4,000. But yeah, you know, most of the people, again, who benefited from the big bogus bullshit bill are people who are making over, you know, $200,000 a year. Those people are getting back over $2,000 more in their tax refunds, whereas the people who are the working class folks might be getting like, you know, $8 or like $50 or something like that. So
it's no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. I think wait. I think it's going to be amazing.
Are those the president's
but
like no one's ever seen.
If you look at what they're doing in New York, in California, they're raising taxes. And they're driving people out. It's a shame.
Australia has just announced that it's increasing its defence spending to 3%. You've been asking for 3.5%. Are you satisfied?
No, we're going to see what happens. But on defence spending, look, we built the greatest military anywhere in the world. There's nobody even close. All you have to do is take a look at the blockade. Nobody's ever seen anything like it.
Like no one's ever seen.
That blockade is the best thing to... And I'll tell you something.
It's the best thing since sliced bread and indoor plumbing.
I think the blockade has been more powerful than the bombs. The bombs were powerful, and it weakened them. They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anything.
Without the attacks of you'd think you'd be able to do the same thing with the Navy still being there? Of course, you know. What is it, under the sea now, as we sang the last time?
Have no leaders. But their new leaders, the ones that have replaced them, it's a regime change. They are much more, I think, frankly, more intelligent and more moderate. But we have a real chance to make...
Bald Thanos says, our Navy sailors are rationing food now on ships. Why am I not surprised? I mean, they spent all that money on the lobster dinner right before the hand, right? You know, and now I guess, you know, less money.
A deal very soon with Iran.
Just on Australia, they've increased defence spending.
On Australia, Mr. President.
On Australia.
You asked for 3.5% increase, like 5% you did with NATO. Australia has only
3.5%, like 5% you've requested with NATO.
Only gone to 3%. Are you satisfied with that decision? Would you
consider
I'm not happy
with Australia because
Why,
they were not
specifically?
Because they were not there when we asked them to be there. So.
But you didn't need anybody else's help. That's what you said. And again, why would Australia be there if they're not involved with this stupid bullshit that you're doing?
Australia,
what did you ask for?
Australia was another one. They were not there having to do with Hormuz, the Hormuz.
What do you mean by that?
Still friendly with Albanese?
I'm not happy. I'm not happy.
I wanted him to be there, but I didn't want to be there. We didn't need him, but I wanted him.
Why specifically?
And I couldn't just grab him by the hoo-ha like normally what happens when I want someone and he won't come. But nobody comes with me anyway because I'm not that skilled.
Oh my.
Sorry.
Do you still have a good relationship with the Australian Prime Minister?
What message do you think the ceasefire in Lebanon sends to the UK and other European allies who chose not to get involved in the war?
Well, you know, we spend trillions and trillions of dollars on NATO. And when I asked them to get involved on a much smaller situation, which is Hormuz and Iran, they weren't there for us. Remember what I said. They weren't there. None of them. They weren't there. So we were there on Ukraine.
We spent trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars on NATO. According to this, the United States contributes approximately $900 million to $1 billion annually directly to NATO's common fund budgets. Total expenditures, mistakenly cited as NATO costs, is estimated over $950 billion for 2025, which represents 60 to 65% of total defense spending by all 32 NATO nations combined. So direct funding is not trillions and trillions of dollars. But indirect funding, total defense spending, U.S. spent an estimated $980 billion in 2025 on its own military forces, which includes resources that support NATO. So Trump's numbers there are a bit questionable because the trillions that we're spending are on our own defense, which happens to include defense of our NATO allies if it needs to be called upon. But in reality, what we're sending to NATO is billion, not trillions.
I mean, we shouldn't have been. It would have never happened if I were president. But nevertheless, when they've had problems over the years, we were there. When we asked them to get involved on a very minor skirmish by comparison to what
I asked them to get involved with the miners, and they thought I was talking about Epstein again.
it could be, they weren't there. So I don't think they'd be there for a large skirmish, and therefore I think they've got themselves a problem.
He just can't say no to a camera.
Policies like no tax on tips, no tax on overtime show that the Democrat Party is no longer the party of the working class, and the Republican Party under your leadership actually
I love this.
Oh my God, what are you from? Real America's Voice or OANN?
I know. This is the greatest guy. Look how handsome he is. What a great guy he is.
I love him. If I wasn't married to Melania and wasn't straight, I'd be all up on that guy because he's so handsome. I love him.
The Democrats don't know what they're doing. They want to tax everybody out of business. They want men playing in women's sports. They don't want voter ID.
Again, there are plenty of Democrats who have said that they have no problem with the voter ID. It's the other problems with this law that we have. It's the other problems with that law. Like, making it harder for people to have to cast a ballot. Putting hurdles in front of, married women and other folks who might have to jump through extra hoops that, other people aren't going to have to jump through. That's not equal protection under the law that's guaranteed under the Constitution. Joel Hernandez, cats to live together with dogs. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Don't know what they're doing. We've had an unbelievable run, and the people getting their tax returns, and they're coming back.
Leave me alone. Trump's straight. I mean, he leans a little bit. I don't know. There is that rumor from with Clinton and him gargling down on something. I don't know, but.
And they're ending up getting $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 more than they thought possible.
False.
Do you think the Pope would meet?
Well, maybe the people who are making, millionaires, the millionaires are getting back more than they thought possible because you basically gave them a handout. You didn't help the working class folks one bit because the tariffs offset whatever increase in tax refunds that you are claiming they're getting.
Do you think the Pope was being disrespectful to you, sir?
To who?
Do you think the Pope has been disrespectful to you? I mean, wasn't that quite hard to understand, and I'm not even there.
Pope, do you think he was being disrespectful to you?
I don't think about it that way. The Pope has to understand that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
I'm going to repeat the same thing 70 million times because that's what people who are sundowning with dementia do.
And the Pope has to understand that you can't let a country kill 42,000 protesters, totally unarmed protesters. You can't do that. So the Pope, I know his brother. His brother's MAGA all the way. You know that. Louis is a great guy. But the Pope has to understand you're not allowed to kill 42,000 protesters who are totally unarmed. And
only we can kill protesters. Only we can do it, not them.
You cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon, or the entire world could be gone. And
they can blow up the entire world with one nuke, because I don't know how nuclear weapons work.
When the Pope realizes that, I think we'll have a different understanding.
Does energy dominance mean that Europeans should be buying more gas and oil from the United States?
Well, they should be buying more from us, and what they should be doing is using the North Sea. I can tell you, UK, I've been telling that to your Prime Minister, UK should open up the North Sea. It's one of the greatest in the world, and they should use it.
It's the greatest sea, not as great as the Gulf of Mexico, because I'm not calling it that other name.
Instead of buying oil from Norway and other places that use the same source, they should use it. And they're not doing it. They're doing windmills, and windmills do one thing. You know what they do? Put you out of business.
That's the key. I have a video coming on that as well. That's the key. That's his concern right there. His concern right there is that windmills put them out of business. He doesn't give a shit about the whales and the birds that he claims to kill. Not one bit. He doesn't give a shit about that. It's about putting people out of business. And that's what big oil has been doing. That's why they push these false narratives about what what windmills do, what alternative energy does, that alternative forms of energy are unreliable or whatever. The reason they do that is because they want to convince the people to not support alternative form of energy. What would happen if you had more windmills, more solar, more other renewable types of energy would be this. The demand for fossil fuels would go down, which means the price of fossil fuels would go down. And not only would it help the environment, but it would help the consumers, because after the initial outlay of the alternative energy types of, mechanisms that we have, be it solar panels, be it windmills or whatever, after the original outlay, it doesn't cost as much. So you're going to continuously create this energy without having to have that large expenditure. So you're going to have cheaper energy, and that's what he's fighting about. But, he'll also claim about the windmills killing birds and whales because...
A modern Don Quixote, he hates the windmills, claiming to protect the birds and whales he says they kill. But don't believe that story, it's really just a shill. He just did not want to see them wild golfing on Scottish hills.
Anyway.
President, did you recently talk to Mr. Erdogan or the regional leaders about the peace deal or the peace talks about
We're dealing with everybody. We're dealing with all of the leaders on many different subjects.
We're dealing with every single leader. We're dealing with every single one. There's not one we're not dealing with. We deal with all of them, and it's the greatest like you've ever seen.
We're very close to a deal with Iran. Thank you.
All right, so there's old Donnie Boy speaking about that. I was going to potentially open up the phone lines, but I don't think I am because, again, it's now 10:16 my time, and we spent a lot of time on that. And, again, I am absolutely, exhausted from this past 2 weeks. So, anyway, we are going to thank everybody. Make sure to smash that like button on the way out because we still have a few people who haven't liked the stream. We will listen to a couple of the Liberal Dan Radio original music as we go out the door, including, because we have Sparklers here, we will include the Sparkleverse song first and then some others. So thank y'all very much. Have a great one. Peace.
Tonight, breaking down the chaos with human life. From Megan Worldwide to the nerd hailing things, leading the charge in this live stream age. Welcome to the Sparkleverse tonight, where the smart talk lands and the jokes take flight. If the world's gone weird and absurdly terse, come laugh it out in the Sparkleverse. Liberal flair, Stephanie Miller crafting truth on the air. Punchlines flying like fireworks in June. Intelligence cutting straight through the gloom. Dan Liberal Dan arrives with rhetorical might, bringing you talk from the left. That's right. Hypocrites and rednecks he will smite, but that after dark show is nowhere in sight. Welcome to the Sparkleverse. Please subscribe, cause the trolls get toasted and truth survives. It's a worldwide bar for the curious mind. Pull up a chair, you'll fit just fine. Boston Ryan spitting facts wicked high. They're calling out nonsense right in the eye. If they take gate logic, can't back the kind. Then he dunks on bad takes like a Sox all-star. Fill up in a bringing the world to view. Frontline updates straight from Ukraine to Rob Glenn, napping out the digital sea. Talking AI and what it might be. Farron Dublin with the writer's eye so keen. Certain breaking news into a biting scene. Trucker John rolling in through the night. And don't forget the mods who keep it all right. Different voices, but all refined. Different hours, most of the time. United in cutting through the news. All cheered on by the Sparkler crew. Welcome to the Sparkleverse tonight, where curiosity keeps the lights on bright. Smash that like and come to converse. We're broadcasting live from the Sparkleverse. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, baby.
said nobody who healthcare could be so complicated. The Obamacare debate was 6 months litigated. Years of med school debt got capitalized. Insurance claim forms so high they nearly capsized. But he wouldn't know the frustration of trying to get prior authorization. Everybody knew, the whole world knew, the doctors, the lawyers, the CBO crew. Oh, 30,000 pages of ready review. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. He said people don't realize Obama deported, but the porter-in-chief is what La Raza retorted. Obama went after the violent folks and felons, Trump nabbed the dishwashers and people picking melons. But Donald's argument shows that he's not very bright. If Obama made some wrongs, two wrongs don't make a right. Everybody knew, the whole world knew. Univision, AP, the fact check crew. Oh, acting all surprised that the sky is blue. It wasn't a secret. We knew. He asked who knew a virus could be so contagious. Virologist blinked at someone so outrageous. He was surprised at how many countries existed that existed. No wonder when the virus spread, he the one who missed it. Spread them out, slit red in every deadly hue. World Health Memo said we already knew. Everybody knew. Oh, the whole world knew. Oh, the lab coats, the leaders, and we were with the flu. Oh, the nations of the world, more than 192. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. You unveiled oxygen like contraband air. Right 6 there. You sat down, claiming to discover chairs. War called money was his big surprise. Iraq has oil. Can you believe your eyes? He said, we are divided. A surprise to no one thinking. And he was most surprised a Republican was Lincoln. Everybody knew, the whole world knew. The Christians, the Muslims, atheists, and the Jews. Oh, like being shot, they have animals at the zoo. It wasn't a big secret. We knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew.
Trump said he'd stop forever wars, and peace is what he'd send. He said we'd measure his success by every war he'd end. In Gaza, he'd protect the people. War crimes he would ward off. But can we trust the board of peace when it's peace that he is bored of? He said he was a man of peace, like no one's seen before. But there's a piece of something he simply can't ignore. But what's the final goal? His holy breast ring. Does he want a piece or does he want the whole thing? He wants a piece of Gaza, cause it's strategic ground. But when he redevelops it, where will Gazans be found? Attack Iran's nuclear program, wanting to bring calm. But when given another chance, he's dropped another bomb. You said he was a man of peace, like no one's seen before. But then he sent an armada to Venezuela's shore. Peace was what he claimed to want, a carrot on a string. But how can one be peacemaker when one wants to be king? He wants a piece of the courts till the rulings lean, a piece of all the media till truth cannot be seen, a piece of the land to the north, a huge 51st state, a piece of that land of green. He thinks that would be great, a piece of that Nobel Award, a very peaceful pride, a piece of every nation, cutting them up like pie, a piece of all of our tax dollars, 10 billion in a suit, a piece of every human, including me and you. Said he was a man of peace, like no one's seen before. But then he turned the DOD and made it one of war. When it comes to Donald Trump, remember this one thing: he never wanted just a piece. He wanted the whole thing.
Obama and Bush's pictures got hidden, obscuring the past, history rewritten, hung in a hallway where no tour can see, confirming his unending fragility. If Trump can't see it, you must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list, object permanent, a milestone missed. If Trump can't see it, he must not exist. Stop the testing was the line that he said. Hundreds of thousands needlessly dead. Now HHS is run by brainworm quack, hiding the truth behind his back. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list, an administration run by narcissists. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Boxes of documents stacked floor to the wall, top secret folders in a bathroom stall. Charges were pressed, but the case was dropped. A corrupt judicial system he can co-opt. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. He'll swear it's fake news, a liberal twist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Encampments downtown, tents lining the street. Invisible people that power won't beat. Hide them away so the cameras can't find it. Proof of a system that's cold and unkind. Of chaotic secret and NDA sign. An illegal bribe, Michael Cohen fine. Trump got fined too over his gag order, but she didn't gag, cause he was much shorter. It must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. We can't let him win, we must resist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist.
Trump piled debt, trillions tall. Promised Mexico would fund that wall. Pray patriotism when Donald's to blame. Had Biden done it, bag on flip. Had Biden done it, phone numbers would slip. Had Biden done it, they'd shout no way. But Trump did it, so it must be okay.
They wrote it in the laws, ink still bleeds. Treating women like soil, just planting seeds. She's gone, brain dead, not even awake. But the state's got a claim, gonna plant its stake. Say it's God's will, say it's life they protect. But they ain't the ones feeling pain or neglect. From Texas to Georgia, they set the trap. Rights roll back while they smile and clap.
Gilead's here, this is true. Hey, MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator.
This ain't pro-life, it's control and shame. They don't care if she's gone, just playing a game. Keep her hooked to machines, cold and still. Just a vessel to them, not a human with will. No consent, no voice, no chance to resist. Just laws in place, written with a clenched fist. Hospitals scared, judges playing God. Bodies ain't temples, just stay on pods.
Gilead's here, this is true. Hey, MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator.
Bands in the dark, they don't care who it kills. Sacking courts while they strip out all of your wills. But we'll fight back, march loud, burn bright. Cause this ain't the end, it's the start of the fight.
Gilead's here, ain't no grace. And those leopards are coming to eat your face. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator.
Not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator.